Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, TSN Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's Game 2 of this three-game series between the Astros and the first-place Oakland A's. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown along with Alan Ashby. Julia Morales is here as well. She joins us in just a few minutes. And last night the Astros had a big day, winning it 7-3 with a big home run barrage, Ash.
4 home runs on the night for the ball club, and they got some of the big boys involved. Always good to see. Chris Carter got it kind of going. That nice little short stroke as he drives it out to a big part of the ballpark. Chris Carter now leads with 21 bombs. Jason Castro now is in double figures with 10 home runs on his year as he drives one out to the bullpen area. And then it's Mark Krause. He's halfway to double digits. 5 homers, but this a big one to the upper tank. So the guys were swinging it, but talk about a big bomb. Matt Dominguez hits his 13th, and it gets up to and maybe beyond the railroad tracks. The boys were swinging it big last night and having some fun in the dugout.
So last night's starting pitcher, Jesse Chavez, had those numbers, 5 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs. Last night, the Astros apparently had learned some things because they really performed much better.
Hence, and therefore, the Astros might have some pretty good things going tonight as they see Jeff Samardzija. But when you talk about Jesse Chavez, talking about a guy last night who had it rolling along pretty well until that big sixth inning.
Well, the Astros did not have any such inning against Samardzija, as you mentioned last time out. In 8 innings, he allowed 1 run. He has been very tough against most teams he's faced this year.
Likes to throw a lot of fastballs. Feels like when he gets a nice lead with his offense working behind him. And they have been working in the 4 starts now that he has had as a member of the Oakland A's, that he can pump more fastballs, just go after the strike zone. And he did it well that last time out against Houston. It will be a second time now here. And 5th career start against Houston for Jeff Samardzija. So obviously the Astros know what he's all about and need to be able to go right after him tonight.
Coming up at your own risk, Chris Carter's resurgent July has paid off in spades for both him and the Astros, but there's some hidden numbers in Carter's game that might surprise you. Julia Morales discusses Chris Carter's risky hitting when we return. Houston Astros baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is presented by Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box for the new Jalapeno Ranch or BBQ Ultimate Cheeseburgers at participating restaurants. Also brought to you by AT&T Uverse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world.
Park. Houston hosting the Oakland A's for the second in this 3-game set. And today when Bo Porter met with media, he spent a lot of time talking about Chris Carter, continuing to give this guy praise after the month that he's put up. Said today to the media, he's a real player, and if he could get off to a good start one year, he could put up 40 home runs easy. Well, Carter didn't put up good numbers early in the season, but he's picked up really well here lately. Has 21 home runs, that 3-run shot last night being the 21st. But he's just looking much more comfortable at the plate, including with runners in scoring position. You see his numbers there, 262 average with rest there. For the month of July, I talked about how great he's been this month. Over 500. He's really come through for this ball club. He's leading the American League in homers just this month, 8th there. And deservedly so. This guy's put in a lot of work all season long. It started even in the offseason for Chris Carter. He's getting early work in before he even takes the field for batting practice and working on a lot of specific things with the hitting staff. And it's definitely not going unnoticed. The hitting staff being very impressed, and Bo Porter very happy to see that he's stepping up, kind of being that pick-me-up for an offense that's lacking a lot of their big offensive players right now. Good to see. And someone that wants to see Chris Carter keep it going, that would be Scott Feldman, who's on the mound tonight. He looks to shut down Josh Donaldson, and the Astros look to beat the best in the West for the second straight night. Brownie and Ash will get you ready for it when we come back.
Second game in their series here at Minute Maid Park. Be sure to check out In-Game Live over at csnhouston.com. That's your place where you can find out stats beyond the box score, such as batting averages where hitters like at different parts of the strike zone, and pitching charts for your different various starting pitchers of the game. You can also vote for your player of the game because your top choice gets shown on TV during Astros postgame live. That's In-Game Live over at csnhouston.com. Okay, there's been a lot of talk about Chris Carter's month. He could be AL Player of the Month. There's only 3 games left in July so far. He's batting .307, and he's tied for first in home runs with 8. He's first in slugging percentage. He's had an outstanding month, but our Twitter question is, who's had the better month, him or Jose Altuve? Because Altuve's batting .340. So tweet me at HoChenCSN and explain yourself. Who's had the better month, Carter or Altuve? I'm reading the best tweets on TV. Guys?
Thanks, Howard. Altuve ready to go out at second base. And it'll be Scott Feldman pitching to the Oakland A's lineup. They have won the last 3 series, and tonight it looks like this for Bob Melvin. The DH, John Jaso, leads it off. That's been the case against right-handed pitching. Shortstop Jed Lowry bats second. Left fielder is Yoenis Cespedes batting third. Then it's right fielder Brandon Moss, third baseman Josh Donaldson, first baseman Stephen Vogt, Catcher Derek Norris, center fielder Josh Reddick, and second baseman Eric Sogard.
On the mound for the Astros, 31-year-old right-hander, all 6'7" of him, Scott Feldman, 4-8 on the year, 4.60 the ERA. And last 3 starts have resulted in losses for Scott. In fact, to get his last win, you have to go back to June 29th against the Tigers. 6 innings in that one, just allowing a couple of earnings.
In his career, he's 5-7 against Oakland with a 6.34 ERA. Astros got a well-pitched game last night. They won it 7-3. Oakland has the best winning percentage in the majors, .619, with 65 wins, 40 losses, and a game-and-a-half lead over the Angels. John Jaso at .286 has 8 homers. He's driven in 38 runs. He's on a 3-game hitting streak. Infield shifts around, playing him to pull. And he does pull, and it's caught by John Singleton for out number 1.
Defensively for the Astros tonight, as that defense already in play with 1 pitch. In the outfield, left to right, Mark Krause, Kike Hernandez, and Robbie Grossman. On the infield, left side, Matt Dominguez and Marwin Gonzalez. On the right, Jose Altuve and John Singleton and Jason Castro will do the work behind the plate.
Now former Astro Jed Lowry, he was the leadoff man last night. .243 for Jed, 5 homers, 40 runs batted in, 6 for 12 against Feldman in his career. Feldman pumps in a strike. Doug Eddings is the home plate umpire who rings it up. Lowry had 2 hits and a walk in last night's game. Lowry's hit .370 against the Astros this year. That's strike 2. Oakland leads the league in runs scored with 527, averaging 5 runs per game.
Feldman throwing strikes, but the strikes are fastballs up in the zone a bit.
That's strike 3 looking on Lowry.
That smile says no way that pitch was a strike, but that pitch says might want to rethink that. Well done by Scott Feldman.
Now the all-star outfielder Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes at .254 has 17 homers. He's driven in 66 runs. 10 of those runs coming in the last 10 days in the RBI department. Cespedes fouls it back. There's strike 1 to the Cuban-born outfielder. He's 28 years old. Cespedes has hit .346 against Houston with 3 homers, 9 runs batted in. Last night he was 0 for 3 with a sac fly. Infield shifts around, playing him to pull. Kike Hernandez is over in right center. Feldman with the sinker is off the plate a little bit, and the count goes to 1-1. As Ash mentioned, Feldman has lost his last 3. He lost a 3-2 game in Chicago against the White Sox 2 starts ago. Pitched well, 7 innings, 3 runs allowed. That's bang foul, and it's a 1-ball 2-strike count. But Oakland went after him in his last start 5 days ago against Samardzija and tagged him for 9 hits and 6 earned runs in 5 1/3 innings. He walked 5 and threw 117 pitches in that one.
Yeah, that's where it really gets alarming. 117 pitches to get through 5 1/3 innings. And the Oakland A's can do that to you if you're not throwing strikes. Scott appears to be in that mode of, I'm just going to pump some strikes early here.
Well, he was certainly watching Brett Oberholzer do that last night. And Obi walked 1 in 6 2/3 innings. That's a big key because this Oakland club leads the league in drawing walks with 391. Feldman is 3-4 at Minute Maid Park with a 5.37 ERA. His first innings have been very good this season. He moves him back, and it's 2-2 to Cespedes. Brandon Moss is on deck. The A's are 2-2 on this road trip. They won 2 of 3 in Arlington from the Texas Rangers. They're 14-9 in July. Curveball is lined to left field, and that will go to the wall. Cespedes will head for second base. He has a 2-out double. 25th of the year.
It's another one of those cases of a guy throwing what I thought was a pretty good breaking ball. Watch where Jason Castro reaches to catch this ball. And that says nice and down, in or maybe even out of the strike zone, but just better hitting by Cespedes. And it happens. You can throw good ones and give up hits. You can hang them right down the middle and get yourself some outs.
It's hard to find a lot of fault with that pitch. So Cespedes has doubled his way aboard for Brandon Moss. Another of those A's having an outstanding year with 71 runs batted in, 23 homers, and a .260 average. Moss 0 for 3 with a walk last night. This is in the air to left field. Mark Krause comes in toward the infield to make it a scoreless first with one hit and a man left for Oakland. Jeff Samardzija takes the mound against the Astros in just a moment. Come up, Bo Porter has made his lineup card out this way, and it's presented by Jack in the Box. On a 10-game hitting streak, leading it off at second base, Jose Altuve. He's followed by shortstop Marwin Gonzalez, DH Chris Carter, catcher Jason Castro, left fielder Mark Krause, first baseman John Singleton, third baseman Matt Dominguez, right fielder Robbie Grossman, center fielder Enrique Hernandez.
On the mound for these Oakland A's, making his 5th start now as a member of the A's, Jeff Samardzija. He's 29 years of age. Overall, 4-8. Don't believe that. Believe this. His ERA is .280 on the season, and he's been even better as a member of the Oakland A's. Guy goes out there and keeping guys off base. .073 the whip now as a member of the A's. Just 30 innings of work, but 20 hits allowed. Jeff Samardzija, very tough.
He was a reliever the first 4 years of his career with the Cubs, and then in 2012 moved to the starting rotation. And boy, has he really been effective, even though he's had a losing record with the Cubs as a starter. That is not expected to continue since he's put on this Oakland uniform, Ash.
And as you mentioned that, Brownie, this is the 20th time Samardzija has faced the Astros. It'll be his 5th career start. He's 5-2 against Houston.
This will be his 5th start with the A's. Since he put on the green and gold, he's 2-1 with a .270 ERA in the first 4 starts. Won a complete game effort, and last time out he could have gone the distance against the Astros in that 13-1 game. Checked out after 8 innings of 5-hit 1-run baseball. Jose Altuve, in addition to the 10-game hitting streak, leads the league in batting average at .343 and the major league leader. He has a 15-point lead in the American League batting race, and he also leads in hits with 149, taking ball 1. He leads in steals as well, and a banner year for Jose Altuve, who was 1 for 4 last night, and then he was robbed in the 7th inning with a nice sliding catch in right field by Josh Reddick. He's hit .400 against Oakland. Bouncing this one to third, Josh Donaldson with the throw takes care of out number 1 on a close one.
Defensively for the Oakland A's, who started in the outfield on the left side, Yoenis Cespedes, 12 assists on his season. Josh Reddick moves to center field, and Brandon Moss is in right. On the infield left side, Josh Donaldson and Jed Lowry. On the right side, Eric Sogard and Stephen Vogt. And behind the plate, Derek Norris.
In air-conditioned comfort, and it was another sizzler outside today. Marwin Gonzalez bats. 274 for Marwin. 4 homers, 14 runs batted in. He's been playing well at shortstop, nursing a tender right hamstring. And he takes that one high for ball 1. He said before the game things are going fine with the hamstring. And he knows that if he has to throw it into high gear, he will go ahead and do that. He's not going to nurse it to that extent. Fly ball right field, headed for the corner. It may go foul. It's deep down the right field line. Oh, Marwin Gonzalez with a home run, number 5. 1-0 Astros. 15th run batted in for Gonzalez.
Just a towering drive right down the line. Appeared to hit that foul pole. And we might have chicken sandwiches coming our way tomorrow. Marwin Gonzalez get a sore hamstring and suddenly start swinging the bat really well. Quick bat right through the zone. That's when you start your begging process. Yeah, you ready for chicken?
Well, take that ticket stub out to Chick-fil-A, and that's what the fans will get. Now Chris Carter, he bombed one last night to give the Astros the lead. There's ball 1. 116th homer for the Astros. That's 4th in the majors, 3rd in the American League. The Astros went deep 4 times last night, 3 of those coming in the 6th inning. Carter takes there, and it's 1-1. Chris, in the 3rd inning last night, ripped a 3-run shot on a 1-2 pitch to left center field. 214, 21 homers, 49 runs batted in, 4 for 6 against Samardzija. And it's 1-2 to Chris, the former Oakland A, who has hit 3 homers and driven in 11 against his former club. What a month of July for him. He leads the American League in homers and in slugging percentage. He's 3rd in runs batted in. That one crowds him, and Samardzija works the count to 2-2.
Last couple of fastballs, you get the idea what Samardzija can do. 94, 95 miles an hour. Good sinking running action on that pitch.
That homer last night by Carter was his 10th on a 2-strike pitch. And on the slider, he's down. 2 outs.
Marwin Gonzalez, listen to it. Yeah. And again, there's no doubt in Marwin's mind as to whether this ball's going to get out. Will it stay fair? And when you hit it that high, it doesn't hook all that much.
And that little rattling sound was the sweet sound of free chicken sandwiches for the crowd here tonight.
Never understood why chicken sounds like that, but it does.
Jason Castro ripped one last night into the Astros bullpen for one of their 4 home runs. There's ball 1 to Jason. Checking in at 226 with 10 homers. He's driven in 40. In July, he's been a 270 hitter with a 492 slugging percentage. Upstairs for a ball. And it's 2-0. Samardzija, of course, and tomorrow afternoon starter as well, Jason Hamill, coming in the big trade from the Cubs to the A's on July 4th. They made their stretch drive deal early. Grounded and backhanded by Sogard. On over to first to end the 1st inning. Marwin Gonzalez goes deep to make it 1-0 Houston after 1.
A's. It's time for you to tweet your photos using hashtag CSNHFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. That was brought to you by AT&T. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. Well, this crowd watching as the home run from Marwin Gonzalez hit that right field foul pole for a 1-0 Houston lead here in the first. Day game tomorrow starting at 1:10. Dallas Keuchel and Jason Hamill will be squaring off. Ash and Dallas Keuchel were out at an autograph signing today at a Whataburger. Did you do a little bonding out there, Ash?
A little bit. Dallas Keuchel's a fine guy, and he was great with the fans that came out, and we had a slew of them out there.
22 homers for Josh Donaldson, 73 runs batted in, and a .246 average. Josh was 2 for 4 in last night's game. A double and a single. Shift is on for him. Strike for Scott Feldman.
Again, in that taking mode, Feldman just comes fastball up in the zone, and when the guys are taking, it doesn't matter where it is, so just go ahead and get ahead.
Swinging there. Donaldson falls behind 0-2. The A's are 7-4 against the Astros. Houston has a 3-2 advantage here at Minute Maid Park this season. Oakland's all-time record against Houston is 27-9. That's a ball, and it's 1-2. The Astros have won 4 of their last 6 from the A's. And if they could win a series from this high-flying club, it'd be something that the players could be proud of, especially without the services of players like Dexter Fowler, George Springer. That's a shot into the crowd. Alex Presley's out with an injury, 1-2. So there's speculation out there 2 days away from the trade deadline that the Astros might be willing to trade a starting pitcher for a hitter.
Yeah, I hope they get something stout if that does take place. I think there are some young arms that have a chance to be a part of an improved future.
Donaldson hits one foul. Josh Donaldson once again in the mix for an MVP type candidacy this season. Even though the batting average is .246, he has driven in a lot of important runs. And in fact, he and Brandon Moss have combined for 144 runs batted in. That's the #1 RBI duo in the American League this year.
Is he a good enough third baseman defensively? I know some will say he's really good, but he also has 18 errors on the year.
I asked Ray Fosse that question. 2-2.
And I know Ray is a believer.
He is. Well, Donaldson has made 18 errors, but he is leading the league in double plays by a third baseman, and double plays started, in assists per 9 innings. Ray likes his range on those pop-ups in foul territory in Oakland. In the air, and the outfielders move in for it in left center field. Mark Krause takes care of out #1.
You know what? He is good in that regard, and that's a huge foul territory. You've got to have a lot of confidence and a lot of aggressiveness to be good in that regard in Oakland.
Krause took care of that one. Now it's Stephen Vogt. And Stephen Vogt is doing things that people have not seen Stephen Vogt do in his career until this year. .361, 5 homers, 23 runs batted in, .375 this month for Stephen Vogt. They play him to pull on the infield, and it's strike 1 to Vogt.
It's nigh unto impossible for me to explain what goes on with some of the players that get acquired by the Oakland A's, come over and kind of take off with their careers.
Vogt hits it in the air on the infield. Dominguez is calling, and that's 2 outs. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Like back in the heyday of the Yankees, when they would acquire a player and he'd put on the Yankee uniform and become about 3 times as good as he had been.
Yeah, and I would think in that case, don't know it, but I would think you start rubbing shoulders with great players and maybe it elevates you. I don't know that that's the case with the Oakland A's, but you're rubbing shoulders with an organization that wins, and maybe that changes things.
Derek Norris drove in a run last night, his 40th of the year, tying his career best. He's hitting .295 with 9 homers. Norris has a very good on-base average this season of .395. There's ball one to him. Second in the American League. Norris has hit extremely well against the Astros, and he doesn't swing a whole lot, as you can see. Fourth lowest swing percentage. He likes to wait it out until he gets his pitch.
That was his pitch right there, in my estimation. He is, like a lot of hitters in today's world, just a taker with confidence to hit with 1 and 2 strikes.
Oh, you hate to be labeled. Oh, you're just a taker. Fly ball in center field, in for a hit. Not that kind of taker.
Well,
Norris is on with a 2-out single.
You know what? When in baseball, when you're this kind of taker, where you can take pitches, you don't worry about it being called a strike, and then you can still get your hits, then you really have something.
Yep.
And that's the kind of taker I think a lot of clubs want to get. You know, that pitch was nowhere near as hitter-friendly as the pitch he took for a strike.
True. But he got a good result, and he's aboard for Josh Reddick. Reddick was 0 for 3 in last night's game. Reddick pounds one into the ground. There's strike one on a .241 hitter with 5 homers, 27 runs batted in. Reddick has been on the disabled list until last Tuesday. He's 8 for 24 since he came back. He's been out with a right knee strain, and that's his second stint on the DL this season for Josh Reddick. Good block there by Castro, 1-1. The A's currently are doing without outfielder Coco Crisp, who is back in Oakland for an examination of his sore neck, which has bothered him for some time. And he is a key component of this Oakland club. But they really haven't had a slump all year, Ash. They've just been mowing down their opponents in the win column. Things have been building consistently throughout the season.
Haven't had much of a slump at all over the past 3 seasons now.
They've had 14 straight winning months. Popped up. Castro over into foul territory. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. 1-0 Houston.
Astros. The Astros facing Jeff Samardzija for the second time in an A's uniform, but they did face him once in a Cubs uniform last year, and from that start they said he threw a lot of sliders and 2-seam fastballs, but they knew that he had developed that cutter and even a split change last, but when they were looking for it, he didn't get a whole lot of it. Instead, they got a lot of fastballs, and that leads us to our Geico quote of the game. Jeff Samardzija talking about that game and getting good run support. That's what run support will do for you. Just calm down, and I like to throw a lot of fastballs, get a few runs lead. You can really pound the zone, get ahead in the count, and work from there. And talking to the hitting coaches from these Astros, they noticed it. They were getting shut down simply by the fastball, guys.
Mark Krause leads it off. He's on a 3-game hitting streak. He takes strike one. Krause hit 197, hit his 5th homer last night. He's driven in 16. He's hit in each of his last 5 starts since he was recalled from Oklahoma City Wednesday. Upstairs for ball 1. Krause with this opportunity now, his 2nd stint with the major league club this season, to do more of what he did last night, drive the ball. With the Astros looking for offense in their injury depleted lineup. Takes a strike, and it's 1-2. Samardzija, 5th round pick of the Cubs in 06, a star wide receiver at Notre Dame. All-America. Misses there, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Caught 179 passes for the Irish for more than 2,500 yards. He will be under contract through next year, we understand. 3-2. So the A's acquired somebody here in Samardzija at age 29 who can help them not only for the stretch drive this season.
I would think with this arm as a football player, it would have been tempting for Samardzija to be a quarterback.
Yeah. Foul back. Well, his run support has averaged 6 per start for the A's. 24 runs in 4 starts. With the Cubs, his run support was 2.4 runs per game. The A's have not made an error with him on the mound. The Cubs made 12 errors when he pitched for them. Krause is down on strikes. That's number 2 for Samardzija.
Jeff Samardzija, in the month of July, he has been throwing a lot of first pitch strikes. It hasn't been the case here so far this evening, but the league average well below what he's been able to do in the month of July. And of course, that means as a member of the Oakland A's, he has been afforded those runs you were just talking about, Browning. And I think that's freed him up to just go after the strike zone.
That's what we saw in that start 5 days ago against the Astros in Oakland. John Singleton with 7 homers, 24 runs batted in. Ready to go. It's down and in, ball 1 to a 175 hitting Singleton, who's hitting only 134 against right-handed pitching.
Now, I'm not going to say the Cubs are a great offensive unit. They have not been. But that early part of the season, April and May, is cold in Chicago. The wind's blowing in. Those are the good pitching months there. So he wasn't going to get a whole lot of offensive support.
Towering fly ball to left field brings in Cespedes. It's a good point. Tough to hit. But in April, he was 0-3 despite a 2.38 ERA. In May, he was 1-1 in 5 starts with a 1.32 earned run average with the Cubs. 2 outs now. It's Matt Dominguez, who crushed a long homer last night, his 13th of the year. He's driven in 44 with a 233 batting average.
Wrigley Field is, during the summer months when it's warm, the wind tends to blow out, probably the best place you can hit in the major leagues, no question. But in those early months when it's cold, it is no fun.
Robbie Grossman's on deck. Foul back. No balls, 2 strikes. The Toronto Blue Jays begin a 4-game series here Thursday night. Homestand concludes Sunday afternoon. Then the Astros go to Philadelphia for 3. Donaldson at third. Takes care of the 3rd out and a 1-2-3 second with the score 1-0 Astros.
1st through the 3rd to celebrate Legends Weekend as the Astros host the Toronto Blue Jays. On Friday, August 1st, 10,000 fans will receive a Lance Bergman bobblehead courtesy of Houston Methodist. For tickets, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. Pleased to be joined now by the National President of the Society for American Baseball Research, Vince Gennaro, in town with the big national convention here in Houston this week. It's a great time, Vince. Welcome.
Well, thanks, Bill. We're happy to be here, and Sabres delighted to have their national convention in Houston this year.
It's a big thrill for those of us here because there's going to be a lot of activity for people who have followed baseball their whole lives. Eric Sogard takes strike one. Your headquarters will be the Royal Sonesta Hotel, but you'll also be out here a Saturday in that game of the Blue Jays for some panel discussions and attending the ball game. And some of the people here for the convention will be getting a tour of Minute Maid Park. So you have a big agenda this week.
We have a full agenda starting Wednesday night, tomorrow night, where we have our welcome reception, and a full agenda on Thursday. Reed Ryan will be speaking. We've got just a star-studded Houston baseball crowd this week.
John Singleton with that play, including the man to your left, Alan Ashby. He'll be involved in a panel with Art Howe on Saturday afternoon here at the ballpark. And boy, you know, Bob Watson, Tal Smith, all these guys who are great names in Astros history. Jimmy Wynn. We could go on and on. Carl Warwick from the '62 Gold 45s. Bob Aspromonte, a legendary guy who helped get it all started here. This is going to be a fun week.
Yeah, Bob Watson, did you mention Bob? And,
yes.
And Dr. Bobby Brown, former third baseman of the Yankees and president of the American League. So it's really a who's who.
And for those who do not know, the Society of American Baseball Research, of which I am a member, and we've got the local chapter here, the Larry Durker chapter. Bob Durrell is our local president. Involves people who just follow baseball, want to do some research, love to hear the stories, and it all comes out in a week like this.
Well, that's right. It's a 6,000 member organization, and it's anyone who's passionate about baseball, and we're all about dedicating ourselves to the study of the game, and we'd love to just experience the game and the community that we have among ourselves. As you know, Bill, being an active Sabre member, we have local regional chapters all over the country, but the Houston chapter is particularly active.
Yes, and the meetings are great. John Jaso taking the ball there, and the count's 2-2. So, for instance, somebody might research the Oakland A's, for example, why they're such a successful offensive team and a team that pitches well. There's a bouncer out to Marlon Gonzalez, and with the shift on, then somebody will be researching the shifts, and it goes on and on, doesn't it?
Well, that's right, and there's a lot going on these days with defensive shifts, and it's really changing the game, and the Astros are right there on the forefront, too, of implementing it.
Here's a good example right here, Ash.
John Jaso waits. He finds himself taking a couple of strikes, but he is that guy now, and then finally hits one off the end of the bat. But that would have been a hole minus the shift.
It's been fun to watch things evolve that way and then see the research on it. Chad Lowry with a fly ball to center field. And that'll do it all too quickly for us with Vince Gennaro. But welcome back to Houston, Vince. We know it's going to be a great week for Sabre.
Well, thanks so much, and thanks for your support, Bill.
Yes, sir. 1-0 Houston.
Inning. This season here at Minute Maid Park, every Friday night home game is followed by spectacular fireworks. That's presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. The next fireworks display is this Friday after the Astros play the Toronto Blue Jays. Get tickets at 1-877-9-ASTROS or Astros.com.
Always a popular night. 1-0 Astros. Here's Robbie Grossman. Taking strike one from Jeff Samardzija with a 190 average, 3 homers, 16 runs batted in. Robbie trying to snap an 0 for 12. Robbie was 0 for 3 last night. That one's in tight, and it's 1-1 with Kike Hernandez on deck and Jose Altuve due up third against Samardzija. There's something like 500 Sabre members coming to Houston this week for that national convention. 1-2. So welcome to all of you. We hope you have a great time.
How long have you been a member, Brian?
Several years, quite a while. It's been a really good association, and just fun to show up at the meetings and listen to the stories that people tell. 2-2. Larry Miggins, who's played for many years around Houston. One of the active members who tells stories from way back in the day. He played for the Buffs. Just very enjoyable. Many people think of Sabre as just a numbers crunching organization. That is not true. It's about documenting a lot of these stories for one thing. That's strikeout number 3 for Samardzija.
Now, in attempting to document some of the stories, I assume they find some cases where the stories are not accurate.
Yes, they do. Well, you'll get some members who, for instance, are very detailed about going back through box scores from 1910, and you find out that they research things like how many hits Ty Cobb had, and maybe the number is incorrect because somebody filled out a box score wrong once upon a time. So they're very dedicated in what they do. Kike Hernandez looks at ball 1. Kike 274 has 1 homer, 6 runs batted in.
Have you found yourself getting involved in the numbers crunching yourself?
No, not really.
I think you've got enough to do otherwise.
Yeah, we get plenty of them. Slowly hit the shortstop. Jed Lowry gets the throw off in time to get Kike. And now that is a good groove for Samardzija after the Gonzalez homer in the first. Jose Altuve at age 24 compared to Derek Jeter at age 23. Similar batting averages and homers. Jeter had 25 more walks, close in strikeouts at the early age.
I wonder on the stolen bases. I'm going to guess Altuve is well in front in that regard.
That's what we're guessing.
Doubles would be an intriguing category.
It sure would. Jose currently tied for second in the American League in doubles. He's 8th in total bases and hits it in the air, and center fielder Reddick moves in for it for a quick third inning, and that is 8 in a row retired on 8 pitches. Samardzija gets the side in the third. It's 1-0 Astros.
The Athletics. Think you can beat the best? Well, join millions of players now on the only official Home Run Derby mobile game from MLB.com. Square off against your friends from around the world, live in multiplayer derby mode, and climb to the top of the leaderboards. Download today for free on the Apple App Store and Google Play. And you could hit that ball.
That's fun. Now, Mr. Home Run Derby, Cespedes steps up to open the fourth inning. He doubled to left in the first, hitting a good low curveball. And to give the hitter credit, he really went down and got that low pitch. A nice result. So, in your experience working with pitchers, do they shrug off something like that? Say, well, I made my pitch. You just got to hit on it.
Some guys do. Some guys don't even give it a second thought. And some can start dwelling, especially when they start giving up a few of those, and it costs them a run or two, and you can start shaking your head.
The line shot left field. It bangs off the wall, kicks back toward Krause. Here's Cespedes racing into second, and the throw is offline. Altuve unable to corral it. And Cespedes hustled his second double of the night. This one leading off the inning.
Of course, those who struggle with what we were just talking about tend to overlook line shots hit like this. And you can see this pitch is right through the heart of the plate. And it's kind of what Feldman has been doing a lot of. He's simply been throwing strikes. The A's have not taken a whole lot of advantage. And maybe that's the bottom line for Scott Feldman tonight, is just go out and throw strikes.
Now with the runner at second, the shift is on for Brandon Moss. Moss hit a fly ball to left in the first inning. That's in the air, and Mark Krause over toward the left field line with a short throw to third. No advance there by Cespedes. One out.
But may I just say, you can see what a pitcher throwing strikes does to these Oakland A's. It changes that taking game considerably. It doesn't mean they won't have some of the hitters going up there taking strikes and getting to the two-strike point. But you see a drastic difference in the way the game looks now when you're throwing strikes.
Game really moving quickly, with Oakland swinging the bats more than we often see. Josh Donaldson worked the count to 2-2. He hit a fly ball to left in the second inning. This Oakland club, though, is fourth in home runs in the American League with 110. That is that quick strike capability. Has outscored its opponents by about 150. Donaldson looks at ball one. It's just a team that really does not seem to have a weakness right now, despite the fact that one of the expected starters in the rotation, A.J. Griffin, has not thrown a pitch this year. And another one, Jared Parker, has not thrown a pitch this year. It's been amazing to lose two of the five-man starting rotation and do this well. Strike makes it 1-1.
They have four starters over the course of the season in double-digit starts. Three who have made 21 starts on the year. Sonny Gray, Scott Kazmir, and Jesse Chavez, who pitched last night. Tommy Malone, who's made 16 starts, is back in the minor leagues. But they have stayed healthy in the rotation. The back end of the bullpen has been great, and the offense scores runs.
Runner takes off for third. Here's Castro's throw to Dominguez, safe. Cespedes gets his third steal of the year.
Very nice throw by Jason Castro. Didn't have a great shot on this one, but took the shot he had. If that glove drops down quickly, might get yourself an out. There's a tendency a lot of times for infielders to reach rather than snap the glove down. If that goes immediately down over the bag, you may get yourself an out. But bottom line, a good jump by Cespedes from second.
He gets his third steal. The pitch was a ball. The count goes to 2-1 now. Infield staying back with one out, except for Dominguez at third. That pitch close, but it's ball three, and it's 3-1 to Donaldson.
That's what it looks like for most hitters when you're thinking about swinging and holding back. A lot of the time, if you watch this type of hitter, the A's guys, they're just in that mode. They're watching it. They're going to force as many pitches as possible.
That's ball 4. Donaldson takes the walk. First of the night for Feldman.
That's a quality effort by Feldman.
Yeah, he has the double play in order now. And Donaldson wouldn't bite on it. So still has a chance to get out of the inning with Vogt if he gets a ground ball right at somebody.
Well, it was that slider also that was just off the edge, right there at the knees. Get a lot of swings on it.
Vogt popped to third on the first pitch back in the second inning. Feldman has had some first pitch outs in this game. He's got Moss twice on the first pitch tonight. So his pitch count is 43. Good stop there on the curveball in the dirt. Castro comes up with it, and it's ball 1. Feldman, 31 years old, born in Hawaii. The opening day starter for the Astros after signing a 3-year deal as a free agent. Again, it bounces. There's 2-0 to Vogt, who's a product of the Tampa Bay system. Last year, he caught 40 games as the starter. Played some first base, DH this year.
Well, he's exactly that type of offensive player that the A's are enjoying running out there right now.
Long shot, Dominguez. 2 outs on a ball scalded by Stephen Vogt.
And that's the kind of defensive player that Scott Feldman is enjoying seeing behind him right now. Well, that looked like it certainly was going to be a base hit to drive in a run, but Pat Dominguez had something to say about it. I think Matty D gets overlooked by the National folks defensively.
He is smooth. A number of outstanding plays. 7 errors this year. 2 outs there, and now it's Norris. Norris, an all-star this year at age 25 from Goddard, Kansas. Came up with a single to center field in the second inning. He's a product of the Washington Nationals system. Traded in that multiplayer deal after the 2011 season to Oakland. Foul ball, strike 1. Speaking of the Washington Nationals, they lost a tough one last night when Miami rallied in the bottom of the 9th inning to tighten up that NL East race. It's getting interesting in the East. Washington just a half game in front of Atlanta, and Miami only 6 behind with a 5-game winning streak for the Marlins, 3 of those coming here.
And those Marlins just a game under 500. So they're in striking range to be sure.
No score in the bottom of the 6th at Miami tonight. It's 1-1 to Norris. Josh Reddick on deck.
Yeah, you've got the 2 Florida clubs, Tampa Bay and Miami, a total of 3 games under 500. 2 clubs that have not had great seasons, but could make noise.
They could. Still time. Still a lot of tight races. Trade deadline bearing down on us in a couple of days. But that doesn't mean the end of trading season. 1-2 on the foul ball by Norris. That's the non-waiver trading deadline. After July 31st, trades could be made after players pass through waivers, or they could be claimed on waivers, and then a deal could be worked out. That's Henderson Alvarez going for Miami tonight against Steven Strasburg in that scoreless game.
There's 2 very good arms. And you know who might win the radar battle there is Henderson Alvarez.
Norris is hitting .388 with men in scoring position this year. Runner going from first. Ground ball, and that is foul. Really close at third base.
Now, we saw a ground ball recently that hit right at the bag. It was outside the bag, but part of the ball got the bag. And you wonder, On this kind of ground ball that goes over the bag, would it have done the same thing? Would any part of that ball have hit the bag going by? Bob Melvin might be asking that question. Are you sure? Sure that wouldn't have hit?
They look close. It's the end of that discussion.
Reality is that a third base coach and certainly a manager can't see what happened on that play. All they can see is how close the ball hit as it goes down the line beyond the bag.
Last night, Bo Porter challenged a call in the first inning on a foul ball call up the right field line. And lost that challenge, so that was it for him for the game.
It was one of those challenges that really could have made quite a difference offensively for the club. As it turned out, they didn't need it, but you didn't know that at the time.
True. Norris takes it. It's 2-2. One of the things the A's do so well is to work the count and run the pitch count up, so the starting pitcher has to make an earlier exit than he might against a different team. Foul back, and it's still 2-2 to Norris.
Right there, part of that ability to hit with 2 strikes is to swing on pitches that might be out of the strike zone but might be callable. And that's what Norris did on a little cutter off the outside edge. Got to be able to expand the zone and still make solid contact.
Donaldson at first, Cespedes at third. Kike Hernandez is playing in right center. And it's hit to straightaway center. Kike back. Kike with the running catch to end the 4th inning threat by the A's. No runs a hit, 2 men stranded. It's 1-0 Houston.
Astros. Every Thursday home game at Minute Maid Park this season is Dollar Dog Thursday, and the next Dollar Dog Feast is this Thursday when the Astros play the Toronto Blue Jays. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. Ronnie?
Thanks, Julia. Check out that style.
Oh, no. Man down.
Boy.
I wasn't asking you to high-five me. I was trying to keep my hot dog out of reach. What are you doing?
Let's see. Julia, are you going to Philadelphia?
Yes, I am. First time.
All right. Let's see. Philly cheesesteaks then, right?
South Street, Julia. That's where you have to go. South Street.
South Street.
Are you taking me?
Yeah, sure.
Marlon Gonzalez leads it off. Bottom of the 4th inning. He has provided the only run in this game, rattling the right field foul screen with his 5th home run of the year in the 1st inning. A 1-0 pitch from Samardzija. And now the count's 1-0. Samardzija, since that Gonzo home run, has retired 8 in a row. He's only thrown 33 pitches in this game. Gets the call there, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count for Samardzija.
Sure like it when a home plate umpire doesn't say, look, you guys are going to pay the price because the catcher was set up on the other side of the plate when a pitch comes through and it's actually a strike. Call it. A lot of umpires through the years have decided, no, I'm not going to give it to you if you don't hit the right spot.
Foul ball, 1-2 to Marlin. Well, there was a big trade. Right-hander Jason Hamill joining Samardzija, and going the other way to the Cubs, shortstop Addison Russell, very good prospect. Outfielder Billy McKinney, right-handed pitcher Dan Straley, and a player to be named later, or Cash. Foul back. Samardzija was probably ready to get out of Chicago. He was 2-7 with a 2.83 ERA with the Cubs.
Well, he got himself to at least record-wise the best team in baseball. That never hurts.
And it gave the A's a very strong staff with the addition of Samardzija. Hamill has struggled. He will pitch tomorrow. But he had a really great start to the Cubs this year. Foul back. Still 1-2. Hamill 0-3 with a 7.11 ERA. With the A's, 8-5 with a 2.98 with the Cubs.
Again, it doesn't hurt to pitch the start of the year in that cold weather in Chicago, and maybe some of the other places, especially back east, that you play in.
2-2. Dallas Keuchel takes the ball for the Astros, shooting for win number 10 tomorrow at 1:10. We'll be on the air at 12:30 with Astros pregame live. Did you get Dallas prepped for his start?
He is completely prepped on his own, and he had so many people just in awe with his beard.
3-2. Yeah, he's right. And Marlon Gonzalez has made Samardzija work.
Yeah, Dallas has that big league beard, but you know, he's also had big league performances this year. And for me, I made it clear. I thought he was an all-star in the first half. Starts leading up to the all-star break might have hurt him a bit.
Marlin fouls it. The Toronto Blue Jays, very much a contending team, follow the Oakland A's into Minute Maid Park, so it's a challenging week for the Astros. This will be the 9th pitch for Samardzija to Marlon Gonzalez. Chris Carter and Jason Castro to follow in the Astros 4th inning. The Orioles lead the Angels 6-5 in the 6th. That's a shot foul, and Marlin is able to really get the bat on some balls here with 2 strikes in the count. Drive them foul, makes Samardzija think about what's coming next.
This is a tough slider, and you know, we were talking about back in the 1st inning. It was a base hit by Yoenis Cespedes. He stayed down on the baseball, on the breaking ball. That's exactly what Marlin did here.
And another foul ball keeps the battle going.
I don't know a year ago if people thought Marlin had this quick of a bat, but for the moment it is nice and quick. Very short stroke.
That's a very good point, Ash. He seems to have improved quite a bit this year.
And of course the big thing is defensively. Is Marlin looked at as potentially the everyday shortstop? I don't know. But if he keeps playing well and swinging the bat well, he'll change some minds. If not in Houston, maybe somewhere else.
He's already driven in 1 more run than he did last year. He had 204 at-bats last year. He has 169 right now. And a strikeout for Samardzija. That's number 4.
He turns to the changeup to get the strikeout. 87 miles an hour, but taking off just enough that you could see Marlon Gonzalez waving in front. Look at the impact of that swing, or that pitch rather. Marlon tried to stay down on it, but that wasn't what got him. The fact that he was in front is what got him.
Chris Carter struck out in the first inning, but he's had the best month by an Astro in a long time. Inside ball one to Carter. In fact, his combination of batting average 307, homers 8, runs batted in 19 in July, is the best with those numbers by any Astros since Ty Wigginton in August of 08. Slider makes it 2-0. That year, Wigginton hit 379, 12 homers, 26 runs batted in. So Carter has really put it all together here in July like no Astro has had in a few years in terms of batting average, homers, and runs batted in. 8 home runs, tying him for the American League lead and, in fact, the Major League lead. Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs also has 8, along with Carlos Santana of Cleveland. That's in for a strike, and it's 2-1 on Carter. And Bo Porter was just glowing with praise about Carter when he was asked about Chris before the game tonight. How hard he's worked and how much the results have been satisfactory.
There may have been no logic to anticipating this could have happened for Chris in the month of July. That month of June, 164, and just couldn't get it done. On base percentage 243. How could you anticipate this was getting ready to happen?
John Maley's loving the show, and
John Maley might have anticipated.
Maybe. Carter takes ball 3. 3-2 to Chris. Chris is 4 for 7 with a homer off Samardzija. Leads the American League in slugging percentage for the month at .707. He hit a screamer last night. 3-2 pitch. He takes ball 4.
Well, there's an at-bat you weren't seeing a whole lot early this season.
No. And he's batting third tonight with the injuries for Bo Porter. The lineup is a different looking lineup than when he had Dexter Fowler in there and George Springer. Alex Presley was playing a lot. So Carter's importance cannot be really overemphasized right now with that number 3 assignment in the lineup. Jason Castro's coming up. He grounded out to second earlier. And he takes strike 1. .91 different batting orders for Bo Porter coming into this game tonight.
Hey, Brownie.
Yes.
To add to the conversation, if I may jump in.
You may certainly jump in at any time.
Well, you guys are talking about Carter. I know we're watching Castro here. Interesting, though, to chat with Ralph Dickinson, the assistant hitting coach, and early in July, the first trip of the month that we went to Anaheim, they were watching the Angels take batting practice, and Trout, Pujols, Kendrick, a lot of these guys just focused on going the other way. Dickey thought, we need to get our guys doing that. And Chris Carter was one of the guys they really worked on doing that with. He's been doing that throughout the month of July, maybe contributing to his success. Not the case for Castro, though. As we watch Castro, definitely not the same swing, not working on the same things. But for Carter, that is something that he's doing during BP, as well as Springer before he was injured.
Yeah,
Ash should notice that.
Yeah, and to me, that was one of the biggest things, and still is for George Springer, is stay on the ball as long as possible, hit it the other way in batting practice. Don't try to jack balls. That'll happen naturally in the game.
Two and 2 to Castro. Well, you mentioned it's not the same for Castro, and that's exactly spot on. Castro, in fact, when he was batting second a while back, was trying to pull the ball, and he was.
Question is, when you go against what's natural for you, are you helping yourself in the long run or not? Jason Castro last year I felt was a really good opposite field hitter. Now, he hit a lot of balls for outs to left field, but he's got power going that way. And it seems to happen naturally. And what I thought was that teams would pitch him in, and they did. But then he reacted late in the season and handled that pitch in and drove it out to right field. And that's when you've got everything going for you, is when there's really no response for the other side. How do you pitch this guy? It hasn't quite gone that way this year, but it's starting to happen.
Ground ball knocked down and goes behind the first baseman Vogt, and that's going to be an infield hit. Vogt was diving to his left, got the mid on it, but then it went behind him, and Castro has advanced Carter to second with 1 out.
Well, this ball is not stung. You can see Vogt coming off the bag trying to play defense, but the defense was actually to be had right there at the bag. Jason Castro takes advantage. Sometimes you make a load of outs while hitting the ball sharply, and then you hope you have these times. And maybe this is one of those times for Jason Castro where he can start picking up some hits without even needing to hit the ball sharply.
Vogt has played several different positions this year. Now it's Mark Krause, and he swings at that one for strike one. Krause struck out on a 3-2 offering in the second inning. Big at bat for him here with the Astros up 1-0. This is only the second time they've had base runners in the game. The other time was the solo homer by Marwin, so not really a base runner. But sometimes against a pitcher like Samardzija, the opportunities are few. It's 0-2 for Mark Krause. Samardzija needed 32 pitches to get through the first 3 innings. He has thrown 25 so far here in the 4th, and he only has 1 out.
I like the way he goes about business, though. He does throw strikes. He does throw a lot of good, hard sinkers for strikes.
That's strike 3. 5 strikeouts.
And when you do that, you'll get a lot of ground balls put in play, and you'll get your outs. Just too good of a pitch to be taking with a couple of strikes on you. Front of the plate, right up there at the bottom of the knees, that hollow area. Yeah, it may not be a strike, but it's close.
So a big out there as the runners cannot move up, and it's John Singleton trying to deliver here with 2 down in the inning. He hit a fly ball to left earlier. Inside, Samardzija was a National League All-Star, but by the time the All-Star game was played, he was with the American League. There's ball 1. So he was not eligible to pitch for the National League. Lowry to his right. Throws to first to end the Astros' 4th inning threat with no runs, 1 hit, 2 men left after 4-1-0 Houston.
It's time now for the AT&T Rewind, and we turn back to Scott Feldman as he finishes up the 4th inning. Cespedes had just drilled one off the wall in left field to get things started. And they had a walk in the inning. Donaldson drew that walk. But then this very good play on the boat line drive and the drive to center field. Kike, you got it for me? Yeah, you got it. Yep. Boy, it's nice when you've got some guys playing some D behind you. And you can see that that's the feeling for a pitcher. Believe in those guys.
53 pitches, 35 strikes. He did get quite a blow in the dugout as the Astros had a long bottom of the fourth inning. After he had those tough outs there, the line drive that Vogt hit to Dominguez, runners at first and third, one out, really a key.
Yeah, that might be the big out for Scott Feldman to this point.
I have to agree with you, Ash. Josh Reddick leads it off here in the fifth inning. He fouled out to the catcher. Josh came by the Astros batting cage during batting practice tonight to go over and go on Ballpark Cam on the MLB network. Some of the Astros coaches were giving him a hard time about robbing Altuve of the hit last night.
Taking all the way mode there. First couple of pitches for Reddick. Now a strike on him and probably changes his approach. That's what the A's want to do to you.
That's lashed up the right field line, headed for a home run. Reddick has tied this game 1-1. Number 6 of the year for Josh Reddick. The line shot inside the right field foul pole.
Now, Reddick has had his struggles against the league the last couple of seasons, but he's still been dangerous against Houston.
Well, it's his second home run this year against the Astros. 6th run batted in.
Gets one right in there, maybe even off the inside edge. Cuts off the swing a little bit, gets the barrel to it. And like the Marlin home run, when you get it kind of high in the air and you cut off that swing a bit, it's not going to hook a whole lot.
There's Sogard. Hits one, and then it hits the bag after hitting Singleton's mitt. Karam's around and he grabs it. It's a hard out number 1 of the inning. That was lashed, but Singleton, even though he got a Karam, it was kind of like a pinball over there. It turned out well for him.
You know, John came with the reputation of being a good first baseman. He's had his struggles, and really in that learning process defensively as well as offensively.
Flexing that right wrist. Now Jaso the batter. Jaso's 0 for 2. He looks at ball 1. Line to first and grounded to short. Looping fly ball to right field, and that's a hit. Robbie Grossman got a good jump, gave himself a chance, but saw he could not get there. And it's a 1-out single for Jaso in a 4-game hitting streak.
Not your prototypical leadoff man, but a guy who gets on base, and that works for the A's.
It's 5 hits for the A's. Jed Lowry comes up. He's 0 for 2. He has a 10-game hitting streak against the Astros. The A's have the best record in the majors for the 37th consecutive day. Marwin Gonzalez up the middle for Lowry. Lowry looks at ball 1. Lowry could be a free agent at the end of this season. And with Russell, the young shortstop, traded to the Cubs in the Samardzija and Hamill deal, that takes care of a guy who might be his successor for next year. So some are thinking that maybe Lowry re-signs with Oakland, depending on how things work out. Fouls it back, and it's 1-1.
These A's have been pretty darn good against almost everybody they've faced this year. Maybe with the exception of the Detroit Tigers. They're 2-5 against the Tigers, a team that's given them fits once they've gotten to postseason in recent years. And I think that's part of what the Jeff Samardzija deal was all about. At least that was the perception that Justin Verlander had, that maybe they picked up Samardzija to be able to beat or contend with the Tigers.
Makes some sense. 2-1. But then Billy Beane was asked that question. He said, well, we're not going to be presumptuous that we're in the playoffs here, which was a good answer.
But I think at the same time, you try to prepare for all the eventualities. And And if you're going to win it, and I think the A's think they're going to win it, that's what they're set out to do.
Right.
Well, then they're likely going to face the Tigers.
It's 3-1 now to Lowry. Well, the A's have won the AL West the last 2 years, but they have a veteran core of players, and quite often the general manager of such a team thinks, well, we have a horizon here of maybe winning a World Series, and it may not be a lengthy time period. So let's go ahead and go for it now. And that seemingly is what the A's did with that trade with the Cubs.
Well, it's really dangerous, I think, to think otherwise. Take the Washington Nationals from a couple of years ago when they won the division. They decided Steven Strasburg, the young right-hander, had thrown too many innings. He wasn't going to pitch in September and the postseason. There seemed to be the presumption they were going to get into the postseason year after year, and it was all going to just be there for them. Hasn't worked out that way. It's not easy. It doesn't just happen each year.
Runner goes on 3-2. It is ball 4. Lowry discarded the bat. Castro was coming up ready to make a throw. So Lowry coaches the walk, and 2 men are on with 1 out.
Great guests, hot topics, and no holds barred debate. Kevin Eschenfelder serves it up fresh every single weeknight on Sports Talk Live at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet. And coming up, guests John McClain and Brooke Bentley. You think they're going to talk a little NFL, a little Houston Texans football?
No doubt. Now Brent Strom comes out for a strategy session here. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Cespedes has lined 2 doubles off Feldman tonight. Brandon Moss on deck. And Cespedes doubled off a low curveball his first time up, and then hit the ball harder for his double off the left field wall in the 4th inning. So it'll be interesting to see what follows here as they work to Cespedes for the 3rd time tonight. Cespedes had been 1 for 5 in his career with 3 walks against Feldman when this game was getting underway. But he's been nothing but trouble tonight for Scott.
Yeah, the A's spent some money to bring him in from Cuba, but he's been a very big part of what the A's have done in winning this division.
Well, there's a Cuban outfielder who's working out now apparently in the Miami area for several major league clubs and drawing a lot of attention. Could be getting a big contract soon. Upstairs, ball 1. The Astros have expressed some interest, but that's going to be high rent territory evidently, and from what we're reading, certain teams are selected to work him out individually, like the Phillies and the Red Sox. In the air to right field. Grossman backing up for a throw to third base, with Jaso the runner holding at second. 2 outs. That could have been a good mound visit as they figured out a way to get Cespedes for the first time tonight after Brent Strom went out.
Bronny, you think of Yasiel Puig to go along with Yoenis Cespedes and others that have come from Cuba as outfielders and the impact they've had on their clubs.
They certainly have had an impact, and a major one. And Puig is now even playing center field for the Dodgers. Surprise to many. Moss is 0 for 2. That outfielder is Rusney Castillo, 27 years old, listed at 5'9", 205. Apparently it's the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Phillies who have had private workouts with him. The Red Sox outfielders have combined for a 666 OPS, so that's the reason for their interest. Now Altuve has shifted out into right field.
I wonder if Yasiel Puig has taught him anything about how to drive in the U.S.
That's the interesting part. He and Aroldis Chapman have been ravaging the U.S. highways, so that's a part of what a club may be dealing with, signing a Cuban-born player who has all this freedom once he arrives in this country, and doesn't always work out to be an easy transition.
Chapman throws nothing under 100 and tries to drive the same way.
You suppose his pitching coach said, we'd like for you to throw harder than you drive. 1-1.
Have you seen what I've got under the hood?
Josh Donaldson on deck. In the air, and the left fielder Mark Krause comes in for it. Still coming for the catch. To end the 5th inning, Reddick's solo homer ties it. It's 1-1 in the 5th.
Tied at 1, A's and Astros. And now our minor league report brought to you by your local Honda dealer. We talk about a couple of guys, Vince Velasquez and Josh Hader. We've been hearing the name Josh Hader a lot. First, Vincent Velasquez, right-hand pitcher, last night. First start since May 9th. He's had a groin problem. 5 solid innings worked, and he's 5-1 on the year. But Josh Hader is a guy that we've been hearing a lot about. This left-handed pitcher has moved up. He's 9-1 with a 2.36 ERA. A couple of saves. Pitched in relief last night. Don't know if that means anything, but we'll keep our radar out there for Josh Hader.
You might have to move that radar to Corpus for him pretty soon. Lowry with the catch on the Dominguez pop-up. There's one out here in the home 5th for some margin. Well, Velasquez actually was coming back from the disabled list last night. He started that game for Lancaster, and Hader closed out the final 4 innings, so it was one of those tandem starts.
Yeah, you know, it's really easy to start trying to read things into a guy that's pitched well over the course of the year. Even last year, Josh Hader's been really good. One of those left arms you just can't help but keep evaluating and thinking how it might work out.
He came in the Bud Norris trade from Baltimore. There's ball 1 to Robbie Grossman. He struck out in the 3rd inning. So wouldn't be surprised at any time to see Hader wind up with the hooks the way he has done at Lancaster. And Mark Appel will make his debut for Corpus Christi tomorrow night. He met with the media today, and apparently he was asked about his stats at Lancaster, which were not at all good until his last start. And he said, well, when I'm pitching in the World Series for the Astros, nobody will remember my Lancaster stats. 2-1.
I know the boys in the clubhouse here in Houston have been advised to mind to their own business, but I'll bet they took note of that.
Grossman looks at it. That's strike 2, and it's 2-2 for Samardzija. Appel apparently will pitch in some of these tandem starts, and then it'll be an alternating system. We understand from Quentin McCracken's remarks that he'll have his own start and then maybe a tandem start where he'll share it with another pitcher. That kind of a plan. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Grossman. Kike Hernandez on deck.
Robbie Grossman, one of those hitters who likes to watch pitches, and he winds up with a couple of strikes on him a lot of times. But he, unlike a lot of these A's hitters, has struggled with 2 strikes.
Not this time. It's a looping liner over Lowry and takes the turn and will go back to first as the ball is played well by Cespedes. Cespedes has 12 outfield assists. As you mentioned earlier, Ash, that's tied for the major league lead. And Grossman's aboard with a 1-out single.
Why do guys go? Do they think they can beat a guy and that guy therefore gets a lot of assists? That's pretty hitting by Robbie. And he does a nice job with 2 strikes right here. Maybe expanded the zone. That's needed. A lot of times he'll take this pitch anticipating it's going to be called high. But much more aggressive with 2 strikes here. And that's good aggressive base running.
It's very good base running. He's aboard for Kike Hernandez, who granted a shortstop earlier. Robbie goes. Swing and a miss. Norris's throw there, but not in time. It was right on the bag, but Grossman beat it for his 4th steal in as many attempts. Norris is thrown out just 11%.
You know how a lot of times I'll talk about infielders, how they need to make sure they stay away from reaching with a tag? Watch this tag from Sogard. What he does, no reach, he just snaps. Tries to quickly throw that thing down. And he came very close possibly to buying the call.
He sure did.
Don't reach out, just throw that thing down. And Derek Norris, I think, thought he might have gotten his man.
Well, we may have a challenge coming up. Bob Melvin's coming out to Jim Joyce, and he will challenge that call at second base by Joyce. Really close.
Yeah, that is close. And I give a lot of credit on both ends. Norris makes a nice throw. But that quick tag doesn't hurt one little bit. I don't know, though. I think that's going to be tough. Robbie gets into the bag quite well.
You know, he did. He slid late and hard. And the way he ran the bases on his single and then that stolen base, a very good example of how to do it.
I think the fans here at the ballpark feel like Robbie picked a bag. Yeah, I think that's going to be a hard one to overturn. Let's see this angle. Hard into the bag. Snap tag. And in slow motion, well, boy, they might get themselves an out, the Oakland A's.
They might.
And you can't tell how rapidly this glove is going down in slow motion, but no reach, just that snap tag. Yeah, that could go Oakland's way.
You know, Robbie was popping up on the way to second base, kind of giving the illusion that he had already reached the bag.
Yeah. Yeah, as you look at it, both on the monitor here for us and at the ballpark on the big screen, I could see where there could be optimism for the Oakland A's.
Well, it's certainly what you would think would be a good challenge on Melvin's part.
Well, and it's also becoming that point in the ball game where if you don't use it now, you may not have any shot to use it.
Norris really put a strong throw right on the bag there, and then he pointed out Sogard's tag was excellent. They're still waiting for a decision from New York.
Sogard just tried to take, as he gloved the ball, just snap it with as fast of arm speed as he could get going back toward Robbie Grossman. And it may have paid off. We'll see. They're taking their time on this call. This guy's done a good job with the Oakland A's. He's not a big rah-rah guy and boisterous at all, but he's so well respected.
Very well prepared. His mentor, Phil Garner, is here again tonight. And still waiting for that decision from New York, Major League Baseball headquarters.
You know,
replay review.
This is one of those reviews, and we have the opportunity at the ballpark to see what goes on the big board. But look at the one on the left. Is he out? You can't tell if the glove is on the leg.
No.
And I think that's one of the difficulties in trying to make this call.
Yes, it is.
See what Robbie does well, though. That left leg that he sends into the bag is pretty well extended. And a lot of times guys will bend at the knee on that lead leg and make a big mistake. Robbie does it as well as he can.
Still waiting.
We'll get that real-time type of look, and maybe in doing so you'll get a peek at the tag, the non-reach, the throw the glove down. That's the way you do it.
Safe is the call. Really close, but Robbie Grossman gets his fourth steal. So after a lengthy review, the Astros have a runner at second now and one out for Kike Hernandez.
Well, predictably, smiles in the Astros dugout there. Not a bad one to challenge for the Oakland A's. And a fine job by Robbie Grossman extending that left leg to get into the bag.
Count is 0-1. High to left field. Kike Hernandez has hit one way back and left. And it bounces off the wall. Grossman around third, coming in to score the go-ahead run. Kike into third base. RBI triple, 2-1 Astros. Oh, he made a bid for a two-run homer. It's RBI number 7 of the season for Kike Hernandez. Right after that long delay on the replay review. Now Bo Porter's coming out, and perhaps this ball should have been ruled a homer.
That's in that area of the ballpark that is just so tough to determine what did the baseball do.
Bo turns around and goes back to the dugout. He was looking at the El Grande replay board, and he got his answer from that. It goes as a run-producing triple. Now the infield comes in for Jose Altuve.
There is a belief back in our TV truck that this ball may have gone over and then behind this Calpine sign. Let's see if it does. Nope, it comes in front. Does it make any contact up there? Well, we don't see any at this point. Does it hit that wall? It's the coloring is such that it's very tough with the baseball.
Line drive by Altuve, and it's 3-1 Astros as Altuve gets his 150th hit. But right after the replay challenge, the Astros have jumped on Samardzija with the next two pitches going for run-producing hits. The triple by Hernandez, and now Altuve gets his 33rd run batted in.
Yeah, some are going to say maybe Samardzija lost his focus with the replays. You won't be able to say that about the Astros hitters, Kike Hernandez and Jose Altuve. Well, that's that good power stroke of Jose.
It's 3-1. That's 5 hits for the Astros. Altuve jumped all over that first offering. He's 1 for 3. Marwin Gonzalez provided a home run in the first inning. He struck out in the fourth. Altuve does not have a big lead. The throw's in the dirt. Stephen Vogt digs it out. It's a tough in-between bounce on that throw from Samardzija.
Last night, tonight, these Astros are giving these Oakland A's all they want.
Bet they are. Samardzija has allowed 7 steals in a dozen tries this year. Throws to first. Altuve bears watching with 42 steals and 47 attempts this year. He's the American League leader. Norris throwing out only 6 of 38. Chris Carter's on deck. Double play depth for Lowry and Sogard. Now time call as the game really slows down. By the way, Samardzija was throwing some warm-up pitches during that replay challenge. He delivers a ball to Marlin.
Look at this pitch on Jose. They try to work it inside. A little bit of a cutoff swing, mostly just a very quick barrel to ball swing.
He was ready. Runner going. Norris's throw to Sogard bounces out as the call on Altuve. What a job by Sogard on the tag.
Norris bounces the throw, but he does get the ball there in time, and then it's up to Sogard, who has been extremely good twice here in the inning. Sometimes it doesn't take the perfect throw from a catcher. Get it there quickly. Trust your infielder. Oh, I don't know. Boy, that's close too. Yeah, that's a really good job with the tag.
Jim Joyce with the out call. 2 outs.
Sogard has learned well not to reach.
6th time Altuve has been caught. 2-1.
One more time. Jose's given it everything he can, but that glove just quickly slides to Altuve. The catch made as close to the body as possible for Sogard, and that gets it done.
Ground ball to Sogard for the 3rd out, and the Astros grab the lead with 2 runs, 3 hits. After 5, it's 3-1 Houston.
We move on. This moment in history is presented by MD Anderson, making cancer history. July 29th of 1989, after receiving 4 walks, Rickey Henderson steals 5 bags, scores 4 runs in the process against the Seattle Mariners. Rickey being Rickey was pretty darn good. I'll tell you what, he was the greatest when it came to the stolen base game. The greatest in terms of leading off with home runs. Rickey Henderson, one whale of a player. 10-time All-Star.
Yeah, isn't that something? And not only a base stealer, but a guy who could hit and did hit many leadoff homers. He had that combination of explosive speed and power.
Is he the greatest ever to throw left-handed and hit right-handed?
No, Carl Warwick.
There you go. Yeah. I'm with you, Carl.
Carl's here tonight. Remember the Colt 45s back in the early days?
Jason Lane was that guy.
Jason Lane. How about that game he had?
How about Jason Lane?
Big story.
Pitching as a starter in the big leagues.
3-1, Houston leading. Scott Feldman versus Josh Donaldson, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. And the curveball is ball 1. The appeal went to first. He checked his swing. The A's have been a good comeback team. They've come from behind when trailing after the 6th to win 10 times this year. In the air and on the infield, it's Dominguez, it's Marlon Gonzalez. They're both calling. Marlon called him off. 1 out.
Yeah, maybe that's Marwin Gonzalez starting to assert himself as the everyday shortstop.
Or you can tell he doesn't want to give up that status either.
Can't blame him. Utility player, that label.
Hey, you gotta get over now.
And that comes with chains sometimes. You just cannot get it off you.
He's taking the job and running with it. Steven Vogt is 0 for 2. Curve is good for strike 1. Vogt blistered a line drive, but Matt Dominguez went high. And he stopped both from getting a hit to left field with runners at first and third and one out in the fourth inning. One of the key outs in this game for Feldman. 0-2. Well, you know, Oakland is such a good team that it seems for the Astros or many clubs to beat the A's, they just really cannot have a lapse in any area of their game.
And if you're pitching, don't hit that point in the ballgame where suddenly you can't find the strike zone. Scott Feldman just keeps on finding it, although he's walked a couple.
Even last night when the Astros won 7-3, the A's had 2 men on when the final out was made in the ninth. Fly ball out to right field. Robbie Grossman, 2 outs. And the Astros got a solid start from Brett Oberholzer last night, and that same thing is happening tonight with Feldman.
That was one of those intriguing at-bats. And Stephen Vogt, we've talked about, one of the guys that fits in beautifully with the A's, taking pitches. He took a couple of strikes that were very hittable and then had to go after one that was much tougher, still hit it well.
Derek Norris singled to center field in the second inning, hit a fly ball to center with 2 men on to end the fourth. Angels and Orioles are tied 6-6. They're in the bottom of the 8th in Baltimore. Ball 1 to Norris. An Angel club right on the heels of the A's, just a game and a half back with a .606 winning percentage. So these top 2 clubs in the AL West are in prime position for playoff spots here as we near the last day of July. In for a strike for Feldman. That evens the count at 1-1. The Seattle Mariners have slipped back in the standings.
Their offense has cooled off.
Yeah, so the rumors are they're trying to get a bat in a trade.
When we last saw Seattle here in Houston, they looked like a mammoth hitting machine at that time.
They did, didn't they? But Corey Hart hasn't done a whole lot for that club. They're looking for a right-handed hitter to hit, preferably behind Robinson Cano. Help the offense, whether they'll get one or not. Could it be a Marlon Byrd of the Phillies? Well, that's one possibility. That would seem to be a good match, but what would they have to give up?
Remember, they were one left-hand hitter after another against Houston.
They sure
but
did.
It worked even against left-hand pitching.
It did work. But it would seem that their general manager, Jack Zarensic, is going to be under a lot of pressure to add a right-handed hitter. They have not made the playoffs since 01. Ground ball foul, and then after the big, much ballyhooed signing of Cano, they've improved their team, have a strong pitching staff, but still lack one more big RBI man. And there are rumors tonight that the Red Sox may be dealing a pitcher. John Lester could be that guy.
That's a big name if he's actually on the market. John Lester and David Price. Those are biggies.
Matt Kemp's name is out there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So what about Matt Kemp to Seattle? What would the Dodgers want? Pitching? Probably. Oh, they'd want King Felix, right?
Yeah, that should work well for Seattle.
End of story.
Yep.
How about Iwakuni? Can you imagine?
You know what?
Dodgers,
he's good, though.
He is good.
He is good.
Can you imagine that if the Dodgers got John Lester, what kind of a playoff rotation that would be for them?
Or David Price?
Yes.
Yeah, but what do you have to give up in the process to make that happen?
A lot. They have a talented AAA center fielder, and teams are thought to be asking for him. 3-2.
Didn't the Boston Red Sox feel like center field was all solved for them back in spring training this year?
Well, yes, and it's been solved defensively, but you know, in addition to Jackie Bradley Jr. not hitting, the other outfielders aren't hitting. Shane Victorino's been hurt a lot of the year. Daniel Nava hasn't had the kind of year he did last year. That's a 2-out walk to Norris. So Feldman leading 3-1 issues his 3rd base on balls of the night. 83 pitches.
They haven't hurt him to this point. One came with, in fact, a couple came with 1 out. you're going to walk some guys on the A's and you come out without any of those scoring, you've done a heck of a job.
Yes, because they will run up pitch count in a normal game for them. Reddick ripped a line drive homer over the right field wall in the 5th. He's 1 for 2. That's ball 1. Reddick playing center field tonight in the absence of Coco Crisp. Very good defender. The Reds shut out the Diamondbacks in Cincinnati 3-0 behind Mike Leake. He went to 8-9 with a win over Trevor Cahill, who's 1-8. Aroldis Chapman got his 23rd save. The Reds are at that crisis point of the year, it would appear. They've been slipping back in the standings. When do they get Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips back? They are, some think, running out of time to make a run.
Well, and yet they're just a game under 500. We talked about Tampa Bay, for example, maybe still being in the race. Same kind of record to this point.
Castro back will not have a playoff. Somebody better play on it behind Castro. So the Reds now are in 4th. And then 5.5 games back. It's the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Pirates. I like the Pirates, actually.
Team that played so well a year ago. Started this year slowly. Turned it on. The Cardinals are always so tough. But the Brewers had such a solid start. They struggled a bit.
It's a little pop-up. Dominguez trying to get there. Dominguez will not be able to get there. The Pirates have that secret weapon, Josh Harrison. They can't get him out.
Don't get him in a rundown because he's going to not only be safe but move up a bag.
Well, twice over the weekend, the Rockies failed to tag him out in rundowns.
They executed and should have been executed after attempting to execute a rundown that was so bad after a stolen base. Oh, dear.
That was textbook awful.
Yes, it was.
It was just how not to do it. They had, about 10 throws during that rundown. That's an exaggeration. Fly ball out to left field. Krause heading back. Krause with the catch. In the top of the 6th, it's no runs, no hits, and a man left. Josh Harrison and the rest of tonight's ball game with the Astros leading 3-1 right after this. Gets in a rundown. It should have been easy for the Rockies, but not really.
Look at this is just awful in a rundown. You're supposed to challenge a guy from the backside, run as hard as you can, and make the shortest throw possible. And all they did was just make long lob tosses to each other. But that's really exceptional base running.
Chris Carter drives the ball to center field. Reddick over in the right center. One pitch, one out of the sixth for Samardzija, trailing 3-1.
Jason Castro is reaping the rewards of a home field advantage presented by Coldwell Banker. July at home way better than other months so far for Jason Castro. Getting it going. Maybe it's just a great second half Jason's going to put together this year. That's a quick bat. And that's a lot of power. We know Jason has it. All-star from a year ago, struggled early this season. But we're seeing it. It's happening for Jason.
He singled in the fourth inning tonight off the mid of the first Sacker vote. He's 1 for 2, looking at strike one. The Mariners lead 5-2 at Cleveland. They're in the bottom of the eighth now. Mike Zunino hit his 16th homer. Yeah, there have been some stories about the Seattle general manager Jack Sarincic holding up other deals. It's kind of comical to read these deals, and then somebody interviewed him and said, hey, you know, other general managers say you're holding up their deals. He couldn't quite figure that out. This is the time of year when everybody talks to everybody, right?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't allow that to bother me a bit. I'm going to lose any sleep over somebody else not able to make a deal.
No.
We're going to make the best deal we can for our club.
Well, a couple of days remaining. That's a strike, and it's 2-2. A lot of teams are in contention. The Phillies beat the Mets 6-0. Behind Cole Hamels and Chase Utley. Hamels won his 6th. Utley hit his 9th homer.
I think the Phillies potentially are one of the most intriguing clubs to watch.
Yeah. Castro is caught looking. Strikeout number 6 for Samardzija.
There's that outside corner that has been tough on Jason at times. And it's funny because it's out there where he's so good with the bat.
Yeah.
His pitch is I would say at the front of the plate. High, clearly right there at the knees at the front of the plate. Jason probably thought it was off the outside edge.
Mark Krause has 2 strikeouts tonight, swinging in the second, taking in the fourth. Taking strike one here from Samardzija. Marlins 3, Nationals nothing at the end of 8 in Miami. Marlins can get back to 500 by beating the Nats. It's a 1-ball 1-strike count, and they can really tighten things up. Atlanta plays late in Los Angeles tonight. Braves are only a half game behind the Nats. 1-2 to Mark Krause.
You know, if Miami still had a healthy Jose Fernandez, number one, I'd say they probably would have won 2 or 3 more ball games to this point. But they might have become a favorite in that division.
Well, they might.
Of course, that won't happen.
But he is that big an impact. Now people are talking about the Marlins picking up a player because well, they won 5 in a row. They're winning tonight. Alvarez 7 shutout innings. Strasburg 7 innings, 1 run.
How have they been drawing?
I don't know. Little chop fielded by Norris. He throws him out. We'll check that out after the 6th inning here with the score 3-1 Astros.
And time to introduce you to our progressive fan of the game. I'm with Kathy up here at 200s. Kathy, who are you with tonight? I know you've got a bunch of friends here, and what are y'all up to?
We're here at the ballpark from the Reconstructive Orthopedic Center of Houston. We always make an annual trip here. So, enjoying the game.
Are you guys having fun?
Y'all having fun?
Having a great time.
Well, real quick, this is Fernanda. She's from Guadalajara, a doctor visiting. First baseball game ever. What do you think?
It's awesome. Awesome.
Okay, well, y'all have fun. Enjoy, ladies. Brownie, back up to you.
Thanks, Julia. 3-1 lead for Scott Feldman. Here's the 7th inning, and Eric Sogard taking ball one. Josh Fields is warming up in the Astros bullpen. Sogard twice is grounded to John Singleton, who's playing even with the base at first. Dominguez off the line at third, also shortened up. Sogard may try to bunt his way on here, they're thinking. It's 2-0. Fields getting ready. 90 pitches have been thrown by Feldman now. Got out of trouble in the 4th and the 5th innings. That's in for a strike to make it 2-1. So with Sogard beginning the night with a .205 batting average, Feldman really wants to take care of this number 9 hitter to get rolling with his first out here in the 7th inning, and it appears that Bo Porter will be watching very carefully with Fields warming up. Marwin Gonzalez back to his right, takes care of out number 1.
Marwin is moving pretty well right now. I have a feeling, even though he's been playing, that Hammy's starting to feel a bit better.
Yeah, he did not complain about it before the game tonight at all.
He's got a little ways to go to his right, and he gets there with just a couple of nice crisp steps. Nice work. Get the outs when they're presented, and Marwin's been doing that.
Jaso's the batter. Jaso's 1 for 3. There is strike one to him. The attendance tonight is 16,940. By the way, you were asking when we ran out of time there at the end of the 6th inning about the Marlins average attendance. It's 21,000 something, last in the National League this year. Fly ball, and center fielder Kike Hernandez is positioned. 2 outs.
Come on out to Minute Maid Park August 1st through the 3rd to celebrate Legends Weekend as the Astros host the Toronto Blue Jays. On Saturday, August 2nd, 10,000 fans will receive an Andy Pettitte jersey. That's courtesy of Waste Management. For tickets, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
One of our favorite guys, Andy Pettitte. Also, a couple more. Lance and Roy. Big weekend coming up. Jed Lowry is 0 for 2 with a walk. We had Lance and Roy on the air last year. A lot of fun.
Didn't we have them
this year? Yeah. Dominguez to his left. And that's a quick 7th inning for Feldman. Really paying off tonight and leading it 3-1 at 7th inning stretch time.
won Astros. Astros, Dynamo, Rockets, and more. We've got all your Houston sports news covered with Sportsnet Central weeknights at 6:10 and midnight, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. By the way, talking about George Springer, he did take batting practice on the field, we understand, tonight for the first time since going on the disabled list. He has been hitting in the indoor cage. Did you, Julia, hear anything about how things went for George Springer?
I did get a chance to check with him just real quick. He said he felt good, and as far as the hitting goes, he doesn't have any problems with that quad or the knee. It's the running that still worries him a little bit. He has not run yet, only been biking for conditioning purposes.
3-1 Astros. There is ball one to John Singleton, leading it off in the home seventh inning. He's flied to left and grounded to short against Jeff Samardzija. The shift is on. Dominguez and Grossman to follow. It's 2-0 to Singleton. Here's the way the A's are playing him. Singleton last night was 0 for 3 with a walk. The night before, he walked twice and hit a homer. Now 3-0. White Sox are pummeling the Tigers in Detroit 11-4 in the top of the ninth inning. Jose Abreu hit his 31st homer. Adam Dunn, number 16. Strike one makes it 3-1 to John Singleton.
This Jose Abreu fellow is kind of serious, isn't he?
You bet he is. Foul back. You know, the Blue Jays, who will be here starting Thursday night for a 4-game series, might be doing something on the trade market here, Ash. They could use a player or two, couldn't they?
Yeah, you would think so. Like other clubs, they've had injuries. They've had guys not produce the way they would like. But pitching, again, I would think would be key for them.
That's a close one, and it's ball 4.
Samardzija looking like, say what?
Yeah, second walk for Samardzija.
He's looking down at the mound, but that's really kind of without staring at home plate, basically staring at home plate. Are you kidding me? Make a pitch like that and it's a ball?
Yeah. Well, coming into this game, he had walked 33 in 138 innings. 123 strikeouts, a very good balance, a whip of 1.10 for the season. Now Dominguez is 0 for 2. And he throws to first. Singleton diving back. Yeah, somebody had a rumor about maybe a Toronto and Boston trade. They're playing each other right now. It's 4-1 Toronto in the top of the ninth inning. And there's some speculation about John Lester. Well, maybe he'll be pitching against the Red Sox in that series for Toronto. Wouldn't that be crazy? No, right? Pretty close there. Singleton has gone diving back in on both of those throws.
Well, the Blue Jays are close, and they have said in recent years that if they've got a chance to make a deal that makes sense, they're willing to spend the money.
We now have a final in from Boston. The Blue Jays have beaten the Red Sox 4-2 behind Marcus Stroman. He goes to 7-2. Another throw to first. Boy, they are really working on Singleton here. He is 1 for 3 in base stealing.
Well, I guess till he cuts that lead down, they're going to keep coming over.
They are not shy about it. Dominguez has grounded into 16 double plays. Swings at that one for strike one.
Boy, great movement on that fastball. Watch this thing not only run in but downward at the same time.
Yes, it did. And another throw to first. I don't know if Altuve has coached as many throws in one sequence as Singleton has here. For a while, anyway. It's 0-2.
Well, why throw anything else when you got a fastball doing that?
Yep. 94 pitches for Samardzija.
See how he pre-grips that splitter all the time.
Samardzija's pitch high in a game this year, 126, May 5th. Strong young man. And as he's made the transition from relief pitcher to starter, he has worked more and more innings. 213 innings last year with the Cubs. He's at 144 for this season. Domingo looks at it. It's 1-2 to Matt. Blue Jays got their win tonight. They'll be here, as we mentioned, for that 4-game set. And the Astros had a chance to really make a dent in things. If they could have a big week against Oakland and Toronto, they could really be feeling pretty good going into August. Broken bat, Samardzija drops it, then takes the out at first, but he blew the double play opportunity. 1 out.
So if you like the sacrifice bunt, there it is.
There it is. Well, you know, they made all those throws over on Singleton, trying to keep the double play in order as much as they possibly could. And then he didn't feel the grounder.
That's a double play. With Matt Dominguez going down the line, there's no question. Samardzija knows it, and he's frustrated.
A game like this that could bite. 3-1. Each club with 5 hits. Robbie Grossman has one of those. He's 1 for 2. Robbie singled, stole a base, and there was a replay challenge. It was a really close call. The steal stood, and then Hernandez followed with an RBI triple. Pop back and out of play. Back one to Grossman.
Yeah, that's nice to see for Robbie. He gets a man in scoring position, and instead of taking that first pitch right there to hit, goes after it.
With the Blue Jays win, they're now 58-50. They began the night 2.5 behind first place Baltimore. Baltimore's tied 6-6 after 8. This one gets by, and here's Singleton going to third as Norris couldn't stop it. He's at third now with 1 out, thanks to a couple of missed plays by the A's.
Instead of going backhand, Norris turns the glove over, and that ultimately cost him. He got obviously leather on it, couldn't hang on, but he'd have been much better served turning backhanded.
Now Bob Melvin brings in the infielders. That is a ball, and it's 2-1. Yeah.
Samardzija again. Body language said it all right there. Where's that?
Looked pretty good.
Watch that pitch run back to the plate, and you got to wonder how no strike was called.
Well, now he's saying something in there toward the home plate umpire, it appeared, Doug Eddings.
Done a good job not focusing his eyes and everything at the plate, but Doug Eddings should not be rabbit ears right now. He's not helped Samardzija. Let's put it that way.
He misses, and it's 3-1 to Robbie Grossman. Infielders in, so that means more room for Robbie to hit a pop fly over them and in front of the outfielders. It means more holes. But usually hitters are thinking about up the middle in this situation. High right field line, going foul, coming over for Moss, and in the seats. Right-hander Dan Otero is warming up for Oakland.
I think that young lady was saying, come on, you guys, give me a chance. I was going to make that play. Then maybe not.
Braves and Dodgers just underway with Josh Beckett going tonight for Los Angeles. That strike 3 call, and a big out for Samardzija.
Cannot keep taking that pitch with a man in scoring position, especially at third. And now our Mako big hit of the ball game. Look no further than Kike as he drove one. It was borderline as to whether it was out of here or not, but it didn't matter. A triple that drives in a run, a big one plating Robbie Grossman. Kike comes up with another big swing. He'll score a run on a base hit by Altuve. And that's where the Astros took this ball game to lead to this point. Came in the 5th inning.
Now Kike looks at ball 1. He can come through with another big swing of the bat as he did in that 5th inning with the triple. He's 1 for 2. Singleton at third, 2 outs now. That was the 3rd strikeout looking of the 7 for Samardzija. There's a shot to left field once again. Kike Hernandez comes through with a key hit. It's 4-1 as he heads for second base. RBI double for Hernandez. The number 9 hitter strikes again.
Samardzija tried to come with a little slider, a little cutter, some version of that, and left it up through the heart of the plate. Kike just didn't miss. I mean, he is all over it. When you watch this pitch, it looks actually easier to handle than that really hard sinker that Samardzija throws. Of course, that's sitting here, up there at the plate. That's not easy at all. Kike Hernandez, man, is this guy a player.
Clutch. It's 8 runs batted in for the season for Kike. Bob Melvin has seen enough of Jeff Samardzija, who leaves after 6 2/3 innings. What a big hit from Kike, who has a triple and a double and has driven in runs with both of those hits to make it 4-1 Astros. Back in a moment. Through Cespedes, Josh Donaldson and the A's in the series finale. Pre-game live starts at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
And now our look at tomorrow's pitching matchup, fueled by Chevron. Care for your car. What does it look like? It's Jason Hamill going to the mound. 0-3 with a 7.11 ERA. He has not been good for the Oakland A's, and the Astros would love to take advantage. Dallas Keuchel has been very good. 9-7, 3.11 that fine ERA on the year. Took a loss last time out, but did not allow an earned run in 7 innings against the Miami Marlins.
Threw the ball very well in that game. And really turned a corner and made some changes since last time. Dan Otero is 7-1. His ERA 2.37, a whip of 1.07. He works to Jose Altuve. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI. Delivered, strike 1. Otero came in last night, working 2/3 of an inning, allowing 1 hit, 1 run. Gave up a homer to Matt Dominguez last night in the 6th inning. Marwin Gonzalez on deck. Otero misses, and it's 1-1. So Bob Melvin is rationing his appearances out of that bullpen. Fernando Abad has 49. Luke Gregerson has 49. Dan Otero is making his 49th appearance. Sean Doolittle has 46.
Sounds like balanced abuse.
It sure does. 2-1. Well, you talked about how good a manager he is, what a great reputation he has. Players love playing for him. Now intentional walk time. The count reaching 2-1, and Altuve will not get to swing the bat. Instead, Marwin Gonzalez will be batting with runners at first and second.
After all, who in Major League Baseball is more likely to get a hit?
Well, you make some sense with that question. You always make sense.
Thanks, but nobody's buying into that statement.
This is the second intentional walk to Altuve this season.
Marlin looked pretty good back in the first inning when he went to launch him. You going to come in on me? I don't think so. Hit the foul ball. All will be treated, including teammates in the dugout. That's good stuff.
Marwin 1 for 3 in this game tonight.
I remember George Brett tried to hit with a bat that had that much pine tar on it. When it was all said and done, it worked out, but nobody says anything anymore.
There's a strike. What are you talking about? We've never seen that footage.
No,
before.
you're right. You're right. But see, you're going to have to accept my story.
Okay.
Once it happened with George Brett, the great George Brett. He was a little bit peeved after they started to take a home run away from him.
1-1. Well, it is a turnaround with men in scoring position for the Astros, who were 1 for 23 against Miami and hitting well in this series so far. Winning at 7-3 last night. 7 runs on 7 hits. And now tonight, 4 runs on 6 hits. Foul ball by Marwin makes it 1-2. Off Norris. The Astros are going to have a social media night in late August. And for tickets, you can go to Astros.com and look for a social media link. A lot of extra things happening that night, in addition to your game ticket, as you'll be visited by maybe a player or two. Bouncer slowly hit. Lowry comes in. Lowry with the throw to a stretching Vogt. And the Astros pick up an insurance run in the 7th inning on 1 hit, leaving 2. They're up 4-1.
Minute Maid Park. The Houston Astros face off against their interstate rivals. Ron Washington and the Texas Rangers in a 3-game series, August 8th through the 10th at Minute Maid Park. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com, or else Wash will have words with you. You don't want that.
He never gets upset, Julia. You've seen him. He's completely unflappable. Great guy. And you and Wash go way back.
Right, we do.
Way back to World Series time.
Yes.
For the Rangers. Now the Astros have moved along to the bullpen after 7 outstanding innings from Scott Feldman. He gave up 5 hits and a run. Walking 3, fanning 1, and it's Josh Fields coming in now, and you can see the month of July has been his best so far, and he's been a lot better since the end of May.
Well, he's just been a lockdown guy in the back end of this bullpen. He is exactly what you want with this type of arm.
Yoenis Cespedes takes strike 1. He has a pair of doubles tonight. Fields has really been money for the Astros lately. Pitching last night, 1 scoreless inning. Coming in with a 7-3 lead in the 7th, and a man on base. He misses there. It's 2-0. He's added the changeup now more this year.
That was it.
That has been a particularly effective weapon for him.
Makes his fastball better. And he's already got a great fastball, but guys can dial up, but not as much anymore. Changeup followed by the great heater at 95.
He was very effective at Oakland a week ago tonight. 2 hitless innings in the Astros 3-2 12-inning win. Evan Scribner's warming up for the A's.
Didn't catch all those numbers we were just looking at, but if it was already shown, I apologize, but it's still worth repeating. Month of July, the batting average against Josh Fields at 132.
We didn't have that.
And that's locking it down. That's 38 at bats with allowing just 5 hits.
Yeah, he has been blowing his way through these lineups. And gets a punch out there. His strikeout rate is phenomenal this year.
And once he shows that changeup and the curveball as well, this fastball starts to come alive.
That's his 57th strikeout in 39 innings. He is 7th among American League relievers in strikeouts per 9. He's averaging 13 punch-outs per 9 innings.
It's starting to approach the silly numbers that Brad Lidge used to put up.
Yeah, it's Lidge and Wagner territory.
Yep.
Moss is 0 for 3. That's strike 1. Krause is ready in left field. He's made all 3 plays on Moss fly balls tonight. In fact, Krause is over more toward the left field line than the left fielder would normally be.
A little more Petro on the hill.
Good point. 1-1. Yeah, likely to produce a later swing because of Fields and the crisp fastball. The Rays beat the Brewers 5-1. 12 strikeouts from Alex Cobb. He won his 7th.
And I loved that guy when he was here pitching against Houston.
Yeah, you did. 2-1.
Great splitter.
You would have loved him even more if he'd been pitching for you. But
well, and when I say I loved him, I was so impressed with his stuff.
Zobrist hit his 9th homer. Swing there by Moss makes it 2-2 now. So all this David Price and Benjamin Zobrist trade speculation might amount to no deals with Tampa Bay working its way back into a much better favorable situation here. Way upstairs. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Moss. Donaldson next.
Well, the Rays now have Hellickson back in that rotation. They've got Chris Archer, big friend of Big Papi, and Alex Cobb and David Price, and that's pretty formidable.
Scribner in the bullpen. That is formidable. And they're 1 game under 500 right now. Foul back and still 3-2 to Moss.
Don't have Matt Moore, a guy they were really hoping to have live up to what a lot of people thought. A lot of people thought Matt Moore might be a Cy Young type pitcher.
Great stuff. It's in the top of the 11th now in Baltimore. Angels 6, Orioles 6. Adam Jones hit his 20th. Foul back, and it's still 3-2 here. Josh Fields last night threw 11 pitches. Last night it was Oberholzer for 6 2/3, Fields for 1 inning, Tony Sipp for 1 1/3. Chad Qualls was tossing at the end of the game. Qualls has not pitched since Saturday. In the air, and here comes Mark Krause again. All 4 times he's caught Moss fly balls tonight. 2 down. Josh Donaldson next. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Marlins beat the Nationals 3-0. Alvarez winning it. Strasburg losing it. Strasburg is 7-9 now. Cishek getting his 27th save. And that tightens it up in the NL East. That's 6 putouts tonight for Krause. Strike for Fields.
There's a nice changeup as a starter.
That's just got to be a very good turn for Fields to be able to throw a pitch like that. To start out a hitter.
He's a fastball pitcher, and I would say 95% of the time guys are going to go to the plate dead red. Well, that changeup is not going to get hit when a hitter's dead red.
One and one. Luno says in articles that he's been getting calls about Astros relievers. That's foul. In addition to starting pitchers now. But he really is reluctant to deal anybody from the Astros bullpen right now.
So I think if you get calls right now on anybody, you've got to ask yourself, where does this player fit beyond this year? And I would think that Fields and likely Tony Sipp are a couple of guys you have to project into the future.
Ball 2.
I think there are at least 4 starters I would think that way with.
Steven Strasburg right now is 7-9 with a 3.55 ERA. He's had that tag as a tough luck pitcher.
Yeah, but he's not that dominant guy that initially came to the bigs.
Very true. Bouncer. Marlon Gonzalez to his right with the throw to make it a 1-2-3-8 for Fields and a 4-1 lead for the Astros.
A's, and as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Shows taking a break from unpacking to watch some Astros baseball. Tweet your photo to hashtag CSNH. Fan photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T. I'm going to send it over to Howard in the Crawford boxes.
Thank you, Julia. Well, Chris Carter is coming up to bat for the Astros, and the Twitter question was about Chris Carter because the question asked, who's had the better month, Carter or Jose Altuve? Both have had outstanding months. JD White Mamba tweeted, on the surface, Carter's home runs are awesome, but Altuve's defense and 11 multi-hit games in 29 calendar days keep the Astros rolling. Jay Kalk tweeted, I say Carter's month is more impressive. His OPS this month is over 1, and he's producing lots and lots of runs. Now, personally, I think Altuve's had a great month, but guys, I don't know what y'all think. I think that Carter is probably more deserving in this case because all around, in so many stats, he's top 5, even top 3. Guys?
Well, I have to agree with you, and of course, Altuve deserves all the credit we could give him, but Carter has had the best month of any Astros since Ty Wigginton in August of 08 in terms of the combination of batting average, homers, and runs batted in. He's 0 for 2 with a walk, and here's Evan Scribner in the game. And that's ball 1.
So what do you think? One of those, or some of those numbers rather, 8 dingers for Carter, 307, 19 ribs, OPS over 1,000. So great stuff. I have a hard time overlooking all that Altuve's done. But I'm with you. I'll say this for me with Chris Carter. What he's done is what we've been hoping to see. So therefore, it really feels very large, and it is large on its own. But it sure is nice to see it for Chris, especially when George Springer is missing in action.
Is this the best month for Chris as an Astro?
I have to go back and look at some of what took place last year. I know there were stretches for Chris that were real nice. I don't know if they lasted a month.
Has he hit over 300 for a month?
Yeah, good question.
Probably not. Jason Castro takes a strike. He's 1 for 3. 4-1 Astros. They've out-hit the A's 6-5. No errors tonight. Oakland has stranded 7. Houston has left 4. Krause is on deck. 0-2 for Scribner. Evan Scribner. He worked in last night's game. 1 scoreless inning. His whip is 0.69 in 5 games. He was just recalled. Castro's down on strikes. 2 outs. The A's have Vogt, Norris, and Reddick due up in the 9th. Chad Qualls warming up. Beautiful Minute Maid Park. We're going to have a lot of visitors from out of town this week at the National Saber Convention in Houston, Texas. So we'll have to be on our very best behavior, Ash, as they get their first look at this ball.
I'm not sure you can afford to keep me around.
Mark Krause is 0 for 3. Well, you and I and Art Howe are going to have a session Saturday afternoon. Strike to Krause. So
Art
you and
Howe,
Artie,
yeah,
you can swap old stories in front of all the guests.
Artie can always keep the miscreants acting a little better, I guess.
It's 1-1. Reed Ryan is going to welcome the conventioneers. Carl Warwick is involved. Hal Smith is coming in from Columbus, Texas. Bob Aspromonte, Bob Watson, Larry Durker, Tal Smith. We could go on and on about all the good speakers coming up at the Saber Convention.
By the way, the best month for Chris Carter batting average for the Astros last year was 258. That was the final combination September-October month. 258.
Okay. Krause is down on strikes. We go quickly to the 9th with the score. Astros 4, A's 1. Net is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy helps recognize those who, despite their own needs, put others first. Inside Minute Maid Park, the Astros, going for their second straight win over the first-place Oakland A's, have made some moves. AT HOU is in left field, replacing Mark Krause, who was 0 for 4. And the new pitcher is the closer, Chad Qualls. Josh Fields had a 1-2-3-8 with a strikeout. Qualls is 1-1. His ERA is 2.
Right, very drastic numbers separating between what he does against right-handers, just 200, lefties 300 against him. Hard to believe that anybody can handle that great sinker that Chad flips up there.
Well, you'd be facing 2 left-handed hitters of the 3 scheduled to bat here in the 9th inning. Vogt and Reddick, 2 up third, both bat left. Norris is 2 up second in the inning. Stephen Vogt is 0 for 3. A pop to third, a line drive to third, and a fly ball to right. Now Marwin Gonzalez comes back to his right. Several steps. And it's ball 1 down and in. Ball shooting for save number 12 of the year. It is a save situation with a 3-run lead, 1 inning to go. It's a strike, and that evens it at 1-1. The A's 5 times this year have trailed going into the 9th and turned the game around and won it. Qualls came in for work against Miami 3 days ago and gave up a 2-run homer to Jordani Valdespin into the Landry's Crawford boxes, giving up 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning. But he saved the 3-2 12 inning win at Oakland a week ago tonight. It's ball 2, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. So the Astros swept over the weekend by hot Miami. Now trying to set themselves up to go for a sweep tomorrow in the 110 finale against Oakland. And Bob Melvin's club came in after winning 2 of 3 in Texas. These 2 teams will be seeing a whole lot of each other in the remaining days of the season. This is game number 12 between the 2. High drive to right field, headed for the foul pole, and it goes foul.
Not a bad looking slider, breaking down and in. Maybe not as down as Chad Qualls would like, but Stephen Vogt, he really shows that with a couple of strikes on him, he can handle anything that comes his way.
He ripped that line drive, and Dominguez went high to catch it with runners at first and third and 1 out in the 4th inning. The A's never did score. Now a strikeout for Qualls, 1 out.
Yeah, that was for me probably the out that has possibly made the difference in the ball game. If that turned into a hit, you never know what that inning turns into. Good sinker. It
was.
More of that running action than just pure sink, but Chad gets enormous movement.
Norris is 1 for 2 with a walk. At the time of that catch by Dominguez on Vogt in the 4th inning, it was 1-0 Houston.
Yeah, that hit made it 1-1 had it been a hit, and again the inning just could have been entirely different.
Norris looks at a strike.
And then you remember that Derek Norris, right on the heels of that ball hit by Vogt, drove one to center field. Kike went back and handled it rather routinely, but a ball that was hit well.
Yep. Bounced, and it's hit slowly. Dominguez in, backhanding, throwing, and offline, not in time anyway. He had to reach down and snag it to the backhanded side, so apparently it took a bad hop on him. That wouldn't have been the way he would have chosen to play it. It's an infield hit for Norris.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this ball must have kicked right on. Yeah, there it was. That second hop just kind of deadened and kicked a bit right. Otherwise, Matt's going to try to take this ball probably toward the left leg a little bit.
Singleton coming off the base to stop that errant throw, and now it's an infield hit for Norris. He's 2 for 3 with a walk tonight, and Reddick is the batter. Reddick ripped a homer in the 5th. He's 1 for 3. Alberto Callaspo in the on-deck circle. That's foul for strike 1. Callaspo preparing to pinch hit for Eric Sogard. Tough break for Qualls, who made a good pitch, gave up a little infield number. The Yankees are pummeling the Rangers 10-4. They're in the 7th inning at Arlington, Texas. Brett Gardner hit his 13th home run. J.P. Arancibia, number 5 for Texas. Brendan McCarthy started for the Yanks, giving up 4 runs in 6 innings.
Talking about the husband of Kimberly Perry.
Yeah. Fly ball out to left. L.J. Ho's in the game. Over toward left center. It's over him and off the wall. Picked up by the center fielder Kike, who throws into second. Safe there, and runners are on at second and third now. And the potential tying run will get to the plate here in the 9th inning after the double by Reddick. L.J. Ho's got a good jump, but Reddick winds up with double number 7 of the season.
They don't die easy. And again, Josh Reddick has had his struggles against Major League Baseball, but look at this job on a tough pitch, moving down and away, and just drills it to left field. And if you're this good all the time or close to it, you're going to have yourself a big season. Nice hustle by Reddick, because that was a nice play by Kike backing up in left field to take that ball and fire into second.
Yes, it was. Now Callaspo pinch hitting for Sogard. He just came off the disabled list on Sunday and fouls it back, strike 1. The Astros play the infield back with the 3-run lead. They'll just try to get the hitter out, not worry too much about the base runners. Callaspo was the DH last night. He was 1 for 4 in that game as a pinch hitter. 2 for 4 with a couple of walks this season. Luke Gregerson is warming up.
Watch Kike back up this play. It's L.J. Ho's ball, but no chance to get to it. But alertly, there's Kike coming right back, fires into the bag at second accurately, but only the good hustle by Reddick got him in there.
Ball deals, and it's a strike call. 1-2 to Callaspo.
It's your Greg Maddux fastball right there.
Sure is. And what a great pitch that was for the Hall of Famer to start it out inside and then let it move back to the corner. We'll back that left-handed hitter out of there. Line drive out into right center field. Will score a couple. Kike over to play it. It's now a 4-3 game on a pinch 2-run single by Callaspo. And with a 1-2 pitch, he found something good that happened. Now he'll leave for a pinch runner.
Previous pitch as good as Chad Qualls wanted. This one not so much. Just kind of left it flat up through the strike zone, and much easier task for Callaspo.
It gets interesting now with a pinch runner, Billy Burns, and he is a speed burner who just arrived for his first day in the big leagues last night from Double-A Midland. And don't be surprised to see him taking off either. He is a big-time base stealer. Made his debut as a pinch hitter last night, hit a fly ball to right. Now, Brent Strom talking with Chad Qualls and Jason Castro here with a runner at first and 1 out. Jaso the batter.
Guy could be quite a weapon.
51 steals and 56 attempts at Midland in the Texas League. He was hitting .250 there. named the Nationals Minor League Player of the Year last year. So the Astros will be keeping a close eye on him. He has measured a big lead. Not going, and there's a bouncer. Singleton to second, and here's Marlon Gonzalez not throwing, nobody there at first, and it's out number 2 from 3 to 6.
I don't know that there's a double play possibility on this play, and Singleton does get that all-important lead out with that speed of Burns heading towards second, but also a little bit deliberate in setting up this play. And again, it may have been that the thought is on that high chopper you're not going to get 2, but well done by John.
J-So the runner, or J-So, yes, he's on first base for Jed Lowry now. J-So is 1 for 5 tonight. Lowry 0 for 3 with a walk.
Yeah, that lead out created by Singleton completely nullified the move by Melvin.
Off the mid of Castro. J-So going, no throw.
However, this pitch turns it right back for the A's now, where a single can tie the ball game. Tough pitch for Jason Castro, and he tried all he could on the backhand side. That hurts.
Now the potential tying run at second base with a 1-0 count. And it's 2 balls, no strikes with Cespedes on deck. Lowry has really done some damage against the Astros this year. Fouls it back. It's 2 balls and a strike to Jed Lowry.
And we saw the numbers. Qualls 100 points more effective against right-hand hitters than left. But at the same time, you don't want to walk Lowry to face Cespedes right here. Very tough scenario here for Chad Qualls.
Lowry played for the Astros in 2012. They got him in a trade from Boston. That one almost hit him. It's 3-1.
Just about bet you Lowry could already feel this ball deep in his ribs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, you can do it, Chad. Come on, Hill. Come on.
Foul ball out of play, and it's a full count on Lowry now. Fans are standing here at Minute Maid Park. The Astros have lost 4 series in a row. The A's have won 3 series in a row. There's a difference of 22.5 games between them in the standings. That's ball 4, and Lowry has drawn a walk to bring up Cespedes. Cespedes has a pair of doubles tonight. He's 2 for 4. Brandon Moss is on deck. Bob Melvin does not have the services of Coco Crisp, who's back in Oakland. His sore neck is being examined, so he's used 2 players off the bench in this inning, Burns and Callaspo, leaving Nick Punto available to him. Cespedes with a little dunker into shallow right field. That's in for a hit. Robbie Grossman picks it up, throws to the plate. Jaso scores, and the Oakland A's have tied it at 4 here in the ninth. RBI single by Cespedes. His 67th run batted in.
Yeah, we said so many times, doesn't matter how hard you hit it, just a little flare thing right here. And the only chance lies in Robbie Grossman charging and making a good throw to the plate.
Cole Porter is coming out to the mound now. And the Astros will bring in a lefty. Tony Sipp is coming in. Lowry stopped at second on that single. So it'll be Brandon Moss, the lefty hitting right fielder, against lefty pitching Tony Sipp, with the score 4-4. Back in a moment. Here with 3 in the ninth inning. Now the Athletics are threatening to take their first lead of the night. They have runners at first and second, 2 outs. Brandon Moss getting set to face Tony Sipp. Sipp is 2-1. His ERA is 2.27.
And you can see that Tony purely dominates left-hand hitting, but he's also made life very tough on the righties. He's had a fine season.
When he entered the game in the 8th inning last night with a man on, the Astros had a lead of 7-3, and he faced Brandon Moss and struck him out. His whip is 0.82, and he has been simply magnificent with the Astros after he was plucked out of the AAA ranks with the San Diego Padres, his former club, granting him his release, and then he became a free agent. The Astros brought him right to the big leagues. He retired the first 20 men he faced for the Astros this season, now facing Moss. Sipp threw 31 pitches in last night's game. Moss has hung in against lefties, 268, but 190 since May 25th. The Astros are working a right-hander in their bullpen now. In fact, they may have 2 out there, it would appear. Paul Clemens and Jose Veras. Probably a 1-batter assignment here for Tony Sipp, and there's ball 1.
Well, I know that Tony Sipp's numbers are going to be better than against a right-hander, for example, than anybody you can run in there. So
Moss looks at it. It's a ball, and it's 2-0.
Listen, Castro wanted to know where that was, and apparently some guys in the dugout felt the same way. Immediately, Doug Eddings reacting to the dugout.
He was looking over, took his mask off. Clemens and Veras in the bullpen, and he made it very obvious to whoever was talking to him from the Astros dugout that he was getting close to having enough. Infield is shifted around on Moss. Donaldson on deck. In the air, it's headed for foul territory. 2-1.
That area has been worked over tonight.
Yes, it has.
Hanging breaking ball. Leave that hanging there for a good left-hand hitter like Brandon Moss, and he gets the head to it. Now from that angle, you can see really not close, but we didn't have that angle to work with to begin with.
2-1 now to Moss. The A's have rallied with 4 hits and a walk here in the 9th inning. There's been a wild pitch. In tight for ball 3. Tony Sipp, a native of Mississippi, has done a great job of control work this year. He's walked just 9 in 31 2/3 innings. Chad Quall's watching as Sipp tries to make a big 3-1 pitch on Moss. Strike 2. Full count, 2 outs. The runner's ready to move. Lowry at second, Cespedes at first. Moss grounds one foul, and he comes hobbling out of there. Appeared to hit it off his leg, walking a little gingerly.
Looked like it might have been ball 4, but a plate guarding Brandon Moss gets a piece, and his back foot gets a larger piece.
Sure did.
What a weapon this guy has become.
Astros relievers 11 and 14 with a 4.91 ERA. This is their 18th blown save of the year. That is a high figure in the American League. Three-two pitch lashed past a diving Altuve into right field. Lowry scores the go-ahead run. Cespedes to third. It's 5-4 Oakland. Moss with the RBI single. Gets his 72nd run batted in. The 5th hit of the inning for Oakland. What a rally by the A's. And they will send 9 to the plate as Donaldson bats next.
Well, this has been quite an inning. And the A's have done it under very tough circumstances with Chad Qualls and Tony Sipp on the hill. And Tony Sipp against left-hand hitters we mentioned has dominated. And yet Moss with that full count able to come up with a big hit. Yeah, these are the A's that you look to see all throughout a ballgame, and for 8 innings, they were quelled.
Now they were stopped on 1 run. And here in the 9th inning, they have really shaken things up. Taking a lead of 5-4. They have runners at first and third with 2 outs. Donaldson will be the batter against Jose Veras when we return in a moment. Astros have given them their first lead. It's 5-4 Oakland now in the ninth inning. 5 times this year they have come from behind when trailing after 8 to win. They got 4 runs off Chad Qualls in the ninth and could be scoring another one with Cespedes his responsibility at third base. So the Astros, who had put together such a good game, moving to the ninth inning, now fallen behind, and they've gone to Jose Veras, pitcher number 5 of the night.
And the right-hand hitters are hitting .254. That's about 50 points higher than what Tony Sipp has done against right-hand hitters this year. So an intriguing move here in the ninth.
He's batting around as Donaldson is the 9th man up. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Runners at first and third with 2 outs. Qualls struck out the leadoff man in this inning, Vogt. Then an infield single to Norris. Double by Reddick. 2-run single by the pinch hitter Callaspo. Jaso reached on a force play, and with 2 outs, Lowry walks. Cespedes RBI single. Moss RBI single. And strike 1 to Donaldson. The A's have won 17 times in their final at bat, and that leads the American League. The Astros have lost 3 times when they've had the lead after 8 innings. Fly ball out to center field. Well hit. Kike Hernandez is tracking it. That's over his head. Goes all the way up to the top of Towles Hill. Scoring 2. Donaldson in with a 2-run double, and it's 7-4 Oakland. Donaldson now has 75 runs batted in. That's his 17th double. And the A's have strung together 3 straight 2-out hits here in the ninth inning. They have 6 hits in the inning.
Well, these bats were quiet for 8 innings, and suddenly the ninth comes. And this is part of what makes the A's, to this point of the season, the best club in baseball.
Cespedes and Moss scored. Now an intentional walk issued to Stephen Vogt. The 2nd time he's batted in the inning. Chad Qualls was tagged for 5 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning on 4 hits, walking 1, fanning 1. Vogt is being put on, and Norris will bat. Seven runs on 11 hits for the A's now. They had 1 run on 5 hits when the inning started. Intentional walk now puts Vogt on. Runners at first and second at 2 outs. And Norris. And a big part of it was that little chopping ground ball single he hit. It would have been if Matt Dominguez had been able to make the play on it, and it took a bad hop. That would have been 2 outs and nobody on. But the A's have taken that fortuitous break right to the bank here in this inning.
And of course, there was the huge game-tying little jam shot flare into right by Cespedes. Not all Rockets in the inning.
Nope. Ground ball in the hole. Marwin Gonzalez gets it to Jose Altuve for the force out at second. And 11 Oakland A's come to the plate here in a 6-run ninth on 6 hits. They leave a couple, and they take a 7-4 lead in the ninth. Major League game. The Astros got 26 of those with the lead, but then the Athletics strung together the key 2-out hits. Now they go for defense with Nick Punto taking over at second base. Sogard left for the pinch hitter Callaspo, who had a big pinch 2-run single to pull them to within 1. Now the lefty Sean Doolittle comes out of the bullpen, and the closer with a 1-3 record has a 2.64 ERA. He's 15 for 18 in saves.
Dominant numbers, 27 hits allowed in 47 and 2/3 innings. You can see the numbers reflected for the left and right hand hitters. Lefties almost with no chance. Righties not a whole lot better. He doesn't walk hitters. He's left very few guys even with the chance to get on base this year. An 0.65 whip. His numbers are simply spectacular.
Doolittle has had his best Major League season, moving into that closer's role. Converted to pitching in 2011. He had been a first baseman. It's worked out pretty well for the native of Rapid City, South Dakota. He was the career RBI leader at the University of Virginia as a position player. Sean Doolittle, 27 years old, had 2 saves last year in a setup role for the A's, and has quickly moved into this top spot in the bullpen, and he's run with it. He comes in with the save situation here with a 3-run lead, 1 inning to go. John Singleton, the first man up. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Scored a run in the 7th on the single by Kike Hernandez. A double, rather. That's ball 1. So the Astros had a save situation with a 4-1 lead when the A's came up in the top of the 9th. Oakland blew that apart with a 6-run, 6-hit 9th. Strike makes it 1-1. And Dominguez is on deck. Bobby Grossman's 2 up third.
How do you explain this game sometimes? You're good enough for 26 outs, but you're not good enough for 27.
It's crazy, isn't it? 1-2. Things can really snowball, especially with a team as good as Oakland. Used to coming from behind, maintaining composure, getting some breaks there in the 9th inning. Sometimes that 27th out can be so elusive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tonight it was for the Astros, but they're trying to get something started here against Doolittle. Now 3 balls, 2 strikes. Going back over the inning, there was that little bad hop infield hit by Norris. Wild pitch certainly didn't help anything. The jam shot by Cespedes, but some well hit balls too. Singleton's down on strikes, 1 out.
Not a whole lot tricky about the game of Doolittle either. He's going to blow one fastball after another most of the time. He believes in that pitch.
Talked about his great ratio, strikeouts to walks of 17, highest among all major league relievers. He's thrown 5 straight scoreless outings, covering 5 1/3 innings. Matt Dominguez is 0 for 3 tonight. That's strike 1.
Well, we mentioned Brownie, 4 walks issued in 47 2/3 innings for Doolittle. 2 of those walks have come in his last 3 outings. One of those against the Astros, and almost started this inning with a walk to Singleton.
Foul back, and it's 0-2.
If you don't walk anybody and you have a high strikeout ratio, you're going to have an amazing strikeout to walk ratio.
This Oakland bullpen has won 19 and lost 14 with a 2.98 ERA. Second baseman Punto gets underneath it. 2 outs. Johnson was to have been a big part of this bullpen, but he's been released now. And the A's seem to be very well staffed. Doolittle, one of 3 lefties in their pen. Robbie Grossman is 1 for 3. He singled, stole a base, and scored in the 5th. The Astros worked hard to get the lead. They scored 4 runs off Jeff Samardzija in 6 2/3. Samardzija was on the hook for a loss for a while. and no decision. Fly ball shallow right. Punto sprinting for it. And here's the slide by the right fielder Moss. And they both wind up down. And the ball is in Punto's glove for the final out of this ball game. So Nick Punto, just inserted at second base, makes the final play. And the A's have rescued this one with a 6-run ninth.
Yeah, they stay away from making any kind of mistake to extend the inning. And they also avoid each other.
Big ninth inning for the Oakland A's. They are now 66-40. They just keep rolling along, and they roll from behind to take it 7-4 tonight.